What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. Well, today's episode of First String Podcast, we have the one and only Kelsey Nelson joining us, and we have Jamie Sharper, Super Bowl champion, joining us from the Baltimore Ravens. We will talk about the Commanders' fumbling of the bag, if you will, versus the Chicago Bears. We'll go around the NFL. We are also going to have Al's foursome. We got some WNBA to talk about as well. And thank you all for being patient with us on Saturday. We had a ton of things going on. So, y'all know what time it is. Let's go.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace 'em up is the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Lace 'em up is the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting lineup, first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Say it from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Nah, for real, like, subscribe, and recommend this to a friend. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the first string podcast show.
What's good? Welcome back to First String Podcast. Please do not forget to like, subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. The most important part, though, is that you tell a friend to tell a friend about First String Podcast. Listen, um, we got an amazing show. It's just that it's a miserable Tuesday for us. So we're gonna get right into it. So let's get HR in here. Lady A, how are you?
Hello. It is not a miserable Tuesday. It is
Oh, it's a miserable Tuesday.
every Tuesday is a good Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, but when you
No
play
matter
on
what.
Monday night and it don't turn out the way you like, and you
Okay.
throw shoes at the TV, it's a miserable
First of
Tuesday.
all, first of all, throwing shoes doesn't mean you have to throw it at the TV.
Okay, well, what about if you roll your ankle?
That's still let me say, we blessed. Okay. We're blessed
Yeah,
to
blessed
be
with a swollen ankle.
we're blessed to be here on a Tuesday. That's all that
We
matters.
are.
That's all that matters.
That's the most important part. You're absolutely right. Now, listen, let's bring in the greatest. Well, how do we say this? Let's bring in the person who benefited the most from last night right now. I'm pretty sure he's in a jolly mood. Al, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening. I must agree with Lady A. Any Tuesday to be alive is a great Tuesday.
Absolutely.
And it's an even better Tuesday after a Commanders loss. But it's a good Tuesday.
If
I
you
knew
don't
it. I knew it. The shade, go to the
go,
corner.
they say go sit down. That means go
Well,
somewhere.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing to do with them country folks. I'm just gonna tell you that they do take go set that down.
Go sit down.
Go set that down. But like I said, any Tuesday to be here, especially in today's time, is a good Tuesday to be here. But like I said, it's a little extra frosting on the Tuesday cake when the Commanders have taken a loss.
Says the hater. Says the hater.
I'm just speaking
Oh
from.
my goodness.
I'm just giving.
Well, you know what, Al? Let's bring in our guest
Miss
right
Fox.
now.
Miss Fox 5, Miss everywhere on TV, Miss on every show that I see her on, and award show. Just call her Miss Everything. That's what I call her.
Miss, okay, Miss Everything, Miss Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Welcome back to First Stream Podcast. Lady, you got her in here, please.
Yep.
Hi.
Good evening.
I appreciate that. I might have to start carrying you with me to my events. I like that intro.
Listen, I'm a cheap carrier. It's a little heavy sometimes, you know. That's all.
You heard what he said. You might not want to bring that energy around.
So you see, we have in our pink.
Yes.
We wear pink every October, and we do it for cancer survivors all the way around. So you'll catch us in our pink on Tuesdays. On Saturdays, we're still gonna wear our team colors and things like that. But every Tuesday in October, we're gonna wear our pink because we do have a conscience and we do care about these things. So that's why we have on pink. You see all of us. We always all color coordinated.
I missed the memo, but next time I'll have some pink. I love that you guys do. That's truly tremendous. There's so many breast cancer survivors. I've had a privilege, talking to them, and I call them honestly breast cancer warriors. Like, they have a story to tell, and they're so inspiring.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you all for uplifting that cause. And also, I know people have been wearing purple as well for Domestic Violence Month as well.
Yep.
So just thank you to everyone for recognizing those voices and stories. But next time y'all got to tell me that would have came with the pink. Y'all know I'm an AKA. I got a lot of pink.
I know, we know. Yes, and that's my bad. That's my bad for not telling you in advance. It's on me. Yesterday
good.
I was in a whole uproar about what happened last night. So that's definitely on me. So let's get into this recap of the Washington Commanders versus the Chicago Bears at Northwest Stadium. Yeah, what did you see, Kelsey?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I know there's a lot of broken hearts in Washington, but no, it could be worse because if you go on 95 and you go up to Baltimore, there's a lot more sadder hearts. So I say, well, Washington fans, things are going at least better in DC than it is in Baltimore. But all that to say, I know primetime games, we're super excited, right? That was the hottest ticket in town in Washington. Monday morning, I went on Sports Zone Chicago, to preview the game. I knew it was going to be a close game. I had the Commanders winning, but the Commanders had uncharacteristic actions happen, right? Like Jaden Daniels was third before this game in the league in terms of protecting the ball, right? Jaden Daniels, we do not see do bad things with the football. There's a reason why we love JD5, right? So the 3 turnovers, when you get that, that made it tough, right? I mean, I wish my Maryland Terrapins would have got the memo. Maryland had 3 interceptions and still lost the football game, but I digress. I'll go back to the Washington. And I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest things we talked about in Chicago was, would Chicago be able to run the football? Because quite frankly, they hadn't been able to, right? DeAndre Swift had not been a factor. DeAndre Swift was able to not only lead the Bears in rushing yards, but also receiving yards, right? So he was able to be a multi-threat. So all that to say, I think the Commanders defense, it is one of the older defenses in the National Football League, but hey, we like veteran experience, right? In Washington, and that's what they were brought in for, right? The culture change, veteran leadership, locker room, etc. But, Washington had to play all 4 quarters. There were bright spots. I'm not just going to be a Debbie Downer. Like, I think we're seeing the emergence of Luke McCaffrey. And while I know Bill Krosky-Merritt, had some mistakes in the game, right? The fumble, I think he's still a bright spot for Washington. And remember, Washington limped into this game, right, without some core and key pieces, especially in that wide receiver game, right? Like, so Chris Moore stepping up, I thought was a good thing to see. I think everybody thought it was going to be Debo. And even having Debo, right, was a big thing for Washington to get when we knew that Hill injury. So all in all, it was a tough loss. It's crazy to me that the Bears have now won. They beat the Raiders by that score and now beat Washington by that score. But, Caleb Williams, I think, was solid. And again, I think Washington just has some stuff to clean up defensively, but also offensively, you got to move the football. And as we all know, you don't want to get from behind, right? When it's 13-0, Washington was known as the comeback kids for some time last season, but, you don't always want to be the comeback kid. Sometimes you want to be the leading kid. And I think for Washington to be able to do that, you got to score quick and you got to score early. So you don't want to have self-inflicted wounds. But all I want to say, that wasn't the worst loss, folks, of the weekend. So all in all, I think Washington will bounce back. I think my biggest thing, though, I just don't want Jaden to take it too tough on him. I know he's being a leader, right, and saying like it's on me, but it was a team loss. And we know Jaden Daniels, has been doing everything possible to carry this team. Obviously, the team is glad to have him back. But yeah, tough loss. But hey, they'll bounce back. So that's why I'm so smiling today.
Well, absolutely. The best part about it being a Monday night game is you get to turn the page really quickly because you have to get on the road, so you're traveling down to Dallas on Saturday, so you have to flush it. You can't dwell on it too long. However, we will talk about it before we start talking about Dallas. All right, like you said it from the beginning. The Commanders came out their first drive and seemed to be going down the field. And JD had Debo Samuels wide open. It's like he saw him late. That was the first turnover. Then they flashed to him on the bench after that turnover, and he still had this smile and calm about him. When you saw that, what did you think in that moment?
Are you still asking me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think Jaden Daniels. Honestly, that's honestly I think why everybody just loves him, right? I mean, he kind of has that kind of cool demeanor. I mean, I think JD5 is what we all wish we could be, right? Those of us who wish we could control our emotions better, and I think he just stays focused. You know, it just seemed like he wasn't going to let it impact him. I think honestly that was the face of security, folks seeing like, all right, he knows, but he's going to get back on that football field and do what needs to be done. Now, I understand some folks like a passionate quarterback like me. I'm a girl that loves Dan Campbell. Like I like my coach emotional. You know, even for Dan Quinn, the best part of the season I thought was when we had that graphic, you know, with his face bleeding and him still coaching, right? Like that meant something, right? And there's a reason why that graphic keeps being replayed and shown. But all that to say, I also respect a guy who can kind of again keep the main thing the main thing, and I think that's kind of the face that Jaden kind of has. So I didn't have a problem with that at all. You know, that's just who he is, right? I mean, he doesn't falter, he doesn't change. But I think honestly, what I took from him post game, I could tell like he took it to heart, and he knows he's going to wear that. But the biggest thing, like I said, you have another game to play, right? It's a long season, especially this season, as we know, it really is anybody's season. I know folks probably say that, but like this year, it truly does feel like that, right? All of a sudden, Kansas City has had an emergence, but you know, in the NFC, it depends on, you know, who you're really watching. But I think this is going to be an interesting Super Bowl, you know, as we count down to San Francisco. Like I truly don't know yet who I would have as the two teams there yet. Because I don't think there's been really any true, like for sure, top contender that we can definitely put in, right? Now, a lot of people talking about the Packers. I know Baker Mayfield is getting a lot of love, which I absolutely love because I think he rightfully deserves it. A guy, you know, has put so much grit and grime, but again, I'm still not ready to put two teams there that I can for sure count on that have played consistently, you know, to be there for going for the Lombardi Trophy.
We're only 6 weeks in. It's way too early to be looking at, oh, you're a Super Bowl favorite.
Like...
week 6. Yeah, it's way too early. Lady H, come on.
So, quite often we do have that guy, you know, like on the field when you have when the play starts, you on offense, you have that guy. It seemed like this past game Debo was that guy, and the reason why I say that is because everyone just kept going to Debo. You saw Chicago going to Debo. They were double teaming Debo. Do you think that the Commanders capitalized off of that, or should they have used that a little better? That's to you, Kelsey.
Honestly, so when I want the Commanders to use more as Zach Ertz, folks, the last couple of games, he's been one of the least targeted people, but I call Zach Ertz Mr. Reliable. I know some people might push back and tell me he's old, but again, the guy he's a veteran for a reason and can find space for a reason. You saw the touchdown, right? I mean, and again, I think if we could use him more creatively, especially when you look at the receivers that Washington was down, I would have loved to see a little bit more consistent tight end play. But all in all, to say yes, of course, they're going to go to the best person on the football field, right? Debo is Debo for a reason. I think the Commanders could have used him a little bit more creatively, right? That's one of the reasons why he was brought to Washington, because he is that Swiss Army knife. But also, I mean, at the end of the day, a young quarterback, you do want him to throw to the, you know, the guy who's supposed to be the guy, and that was Debo, right? At the end of the day, a good receiver can make plays, right? At the end of the day, a good receiver can make plays. It just is what it is. So I don't think it was wrong to target him, but at the same time, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is a good offensive coordinator for a reason, and I understand he had to shift and make things right as necessary, again, because the Commanders had to have the next guy up mentality in that game. And again, I think Luke McCaffrey is a great, you know, person to kind of keep watching, right? And then, like I said, Chris Moore, I think, is somebody that people, of course, like just haven't really got to see, and think him even stepping up. So I don't think I would change like the targeting to Debo. I think just the ball, it's the ball placement, right? That comes to your quarterback, right? And Jaden is very talented, you know, right, in that respect. But you also do have to give the Bears defense some credit. You just do, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they were able to make some important plays.
Yeah.
Come on now.
To piggyback off what you said, Kelsey, you did have a lot of injuries coming into this game.
Yeah.
But one thing that I'm seeing as a trend, and maybe you can help me with that, is the slow starts. in the beginning of the games and getting behind early and having to fight from behind. That wasn't something that you dealt a lot with last year, or the Commanders dealt with a lot last year.
Right.
Does that concern you, and what do you feel may be contributing to the slow starts, other than the defenses are more in tune with what you're doing, or is it just because you're working with a cast of players that maybe not be your top tier starters?
Yeah, I think you kind of alluded to at the end, right? Remember, the Commanders getting Jaden back, right? Marcus Mariota being in the saddle for the couple of games, Jaden having to work his way back. And honestly, I don't think Jaden's fully 100%, right? Which you can kind of see on that football field, but he's doing what needs to be done. But all that to say, I think at the end of the day, again, like JD5 out of all the quarterbacks in the National Football League, like I feel confident and comfortable with Jaden Daniels, right? There are some teams now who wish they had Jaden Daniels, on that football roster. But, when you, especially with a young quarterback like a Jaden Daniels, scoring early, it does something for momentum. And something I said on Chicago radio, also remember, this was a home game, right? Sold out game, right? You had the fan factor, playing in. I saw Darryl Green, with the Sphere, like what an atmosphere to be in, right? And the players can also feed off of that. I think especially young guys, right? You think about some of the big schools these guys are coming from. So all that to say, yes, it would have definitely helped, but there is also something to be said, right, during that halftime, especially when you have a coach like Dan Quinn, who's probably going to feed you up and get you back into that mentality, right, to do better. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, there are some teams that are first half teams, and I'd rather be a second half team and win, right? So I think a fast start, a fast start can help, but at the same time, if your defense isn't complimentary, right, to that fast start, it does absolutely nothing for you. So I think it would have been good for the Commanders, but the Commanders literally were still in this game. Like the Bears, when you think about the Bears should have been up a lot bigger, right? They had to rely on a brand new kicker for that instance. Like I love the part, when DeAndre Swift was like, I just talked to our kicker today, like on the sidelines. That was my first time ever talking to him. That's wild, right? So much pressure, on that side. But, like Dan Quinn talked about it. Football's paid, it's three phases, right? You need special teams, you need offense, you need defense, right? Everyone kind of has to win their battle. So yes, winning, like getting off to a fast start would be great, but there are teams like, again, the Chiefs, I think, are a perfect team we can look at, whether they start slow or start fast. Like sometimes Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes because he can find a way to win, right? And all of a sudden, we're starting to see that back. So it would help, but good football teams will just find ways to win. Unless you're getting down, 40-0 or you can't come back. There is always a way for you to come back, I feel like, and win.
I thought that JD5 found his groove about in the middle of the game last night. He wound up with 3 touchdowns and a good passer rating. For a while, he had no incompletions, even though one of them was an interception. So he had no balls hit the ground. When you talk about those winning time moments, JD said, he had a lack of focus, so he took ownership for it. With that being said, the defense, who on that defense is going to take ownership for all of the missed tackles, for all of the lapses in communications? We were pretty good in the run coming up into this game, and DeAndre Swift seems to have our number. I believe it was our guy Cuzzo here, that fantasy show, that told us, hey, watch out for DeAndre Swift this week because he seems to have great games versus us. So when is someone on this defense going to say enough is enough?
Hopefully it's being said now, right? I mean, because again, you look at this and, I think also we have to remember, give the Commanders a little bit of grace. The Bears came into this game coming off a bye week, right? So a little bit more time to prepare, and they focused on the run because they were getting like shredded through the run. And mind you, their defense the week before the bye week, got shredded by Aston Gentry, right, on the Raiders. So all that to say, they also know what it is to be on the other side of that. But, I think the defense, when you look at it, you look at some of the penalties, but, I think like a guy like Mike Samuelson, right, is a guy here constantly. People liking him, what he's been able to do this year versus last year. I think Quan Martin also was able to get tested. I think when I talk about the Commanders, the secondary is kind of always a space, I'm looking at, because also they were able to get some sacks on Caleb Williams, right? So I know the defense is being shredded, and you think about what they were able to do the week before against Justin Herbert, who a lot of people love, right, and have as a top quarterback. So I do think we have to give the defense some grace and also some accolades on that. But, the age of the defense came up to me earlier on a show, and I don't know if it's fully that, because I like the veteran leadership, like Bobby Wagner had a moment. Dorrance Armstrong, I think, is somebody good talked about. Frankie Lou, I love the sticking out the tongue moment he had after his defensive play. So honestly, I could point to a lot of defensive guys that miss something, but at the end of the day, you have to have good tackling. Like, I mean, unacceptable. Now, I know people can talk about the conditions later on in the game and stuff like that, but it's football weather. If you love the game of football, you know you played through anything, and all of those guys have played through stuff. So all in all, I think, I've heard some people talking about, like, should Joe Witt be gone? We talked about it. We're still early in the season. This is by far not the worst defense in the National Football League. I can give you a lot of different examples of teams who are that. Looks like me and Alvin have some names to list, and we're going to talk about that. But I think they can only grow from here. Yeah, the Cowboys are one. But it was a one-score game, right? Like, again, there's many other teams that we could be talking about. So, I think people are hitting the panic button because, look, let's be honest, we got spoiled and privileged last season, right? NFC Championship game, Jaden Daniels doing his thing in the first year, fans thinking they were going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, right? Like, it was that bar, and the Commanders have rightfully set that bar high. But all in all, to say, like, I'm not as scared right now about the Commanders' defense. I do think they can help to fix. But like I said, the secondary, remember to be courteous, like the Bears on paper, their offense, their weapons are ridiculous. Like, thank gosh DJ Moore didn't have a top game, right? Even Rome didn't have the top game, right? Like, again, DeAndre Swift was kind of the guy. The great catch by Rome got called back right after a Chicago Bears penalty. So all in all, to say, like, there was nobody that really had, other than DeAndre, like a crazy game. So I can't like kill the Commanders defense, especially when Chicago has some weapons, folks. Like, you look at it, wide receiver to tight end, like Chicago could be a dangerous team if all things go right, and Caleb Williams plays his best self. But yeah, I just think give the guys a little grace. I know the loss hurts. I don't know. For me, crab cakes in football, I get a crab cake, I feel a little bit better, and you move on to the next game.
Okay. Lady A, can you put up Cuzzo's last comment, please? Let's address a couple of questions here from Cuzzo. His first one here is watching last night's game. I believe Terry's presence on the field is missing. Terry's presence on the field. I feel that there's some plays that if Terry was there, he would have made. I think that the Luke catch last week, that 50-yard bomb versus the Chargers, is a Terry play. But with that being said, I want to know how you feel about this, Kelsey. With that being said, imagine when we do get Terry back, a fully healthy Terry back, and then we have Terry, Debo, and Luke. How do you feel about that? Because Luke needs to grow.
Of course. A deep ball threat. Like, that's what we want back in Washington, right? Terry helps you expand and open the field. So that's always going to be great. And again, I think Terry's reliable. Now, but if we're being fair, there were some questions about Terry to start the season because, right, he got paid and people wanted that P word, that consistent productivity. I think there's basis for Terry to grow. But again, if there's any guy I'm going to trust on that football field, especially if I'm Jaden, and we know the chemistry that they were able to build in year one, it definitely would be Terry McLaurin. So yes, when your best wide receiver is out, because as great as Debo is, Terry is still WR1, right? Wide receiver one.
Yes.
And being on that football field does make a difference. So I completely agree.
I have a question. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we got one more comment from Cuzzo, which is a little bit further above, where he says he's still on this running back thing. He goes, I think that Bill is great, but do we need a running back such as Hall or Kamara? And I'm telling you, I think the running back room is fine.
Yes, coming into this game, Washington has one of the best runs in the National Football League before the game, right? And the fact that Washington was able to do that without any, quote, star running backs, which I think he's kind of alluding to, I think is special, right? Washington, one of the things they did was change up the running back room, right? No more B-Rob, right? I was working for the team. We had Antonio Gibson. Like, this is a completely new running back room. Essentially, Washington said, we want to trust the young guys, right? And who would have thought a 7th-round pick in Bill, right, would be that guy? But if you go back to training camp, they were talking about how special he was and is the coaches. And I think we're now finally being able to see that. So the run game and losing Austin Eckler, right, and still being able to have the productivity that Washington has had, I think Washington fans have to be more excited, about, again, I can point to a team in Baltimore who can't run the ball with big Derrick Henry. I'm not as worried about this Washington team who has young guys. Of course, I would have liked to see more, but give the Chicago Bears defense credit where credit, is. But before this game, Washington could run the football.
I have a question for you, also, excuse me, Kelsey. One thing that I harped on early in the season was Washington was adding a lot of older players. In Von Miller, in Kinlaw, a lot of with the left tackle, Tunzel. Now he's been a good find. Are you all getting the return or on your investment or the support that you need on the team from these older players that I said would be pivotal because they are older players.
Yeah, this was something going in, to it, and I know, again, I was literally on a show earlier and they called Washington old man defense, right? They said something, it was funny, but on defense, yes. As the game wears on is probably where you're going to start to worry about your older players, right? As the game wears on, especially in tough physical matches. But, Bobby Wagner, again, I think the veteran leadership and experience does matter. Now, I think when you talk about some of those older guys, you do have to think about the middle of that football field, right? And where receivers could potentially exploit. But again, Washington is not the worst ranked defense right now. So I think the old guys they've been holding they've been holding on, for what Washington has needed them to hold on to. Von Miller at some points, he's had a couple plays where he's almost looked a little like vintage Von Miller, right?
Yep.
And I know
Yep.
when Washington signed him, everybody was saying that why would they sign like an old guy? But I think give Adam Peters a little props. Washington's trying to win right now, right? They want to win right now. They know they have something special. And I think when healthy, Washington is a team that does need to be talked about going into the season. Many people had them and sorry, Alvin Dallas potentially, winning the NFC East division. Now, both teams you can talk about. And of course, again, like I said, this year it's been very, very interesting. But I think the older guys, I'm not hitting the panic button on right now because they have had some good plays. Yes. Again, that has helped the defense. But at the end of the day, especially if we're talking about the defense, a lot of people are talking about the secondary. Who's in the secondary? We're not talking about the old guys, right? We're talking about some younger guys in that secondary.
Yes.
So all in all to say, like I said, I think give the young guys a little grace, folks. They've been doing a solid job. I'm not saying the best job, but a solid job, about, again, doing their roles.
They have been back.
Yeah. No, I was about to say, speaking of up the road, we got a person backstage that has some hardware, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Can we bring in Super Bowl champion, please? Al, can you introduce the Super Bowl champion that's backstage?
Oh man, well, Kelsey might not like the first part. The Virginia Cavalier, great all time, one of the best defenders to come out of there. Baltimore Raven, great, good friend of mine. But like I said, even better person. Mr. Jamie Sharper of the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champion. I believe it was 2000. He can tell us what year.
2000. 2000.
Oh, 2000. I know we old, but I got to remember.
We are old. We're getting up there. Definitely. Y'all see my background. I'm trying to bring some good energy. I see all of the legends of Baltimore, Ray, Ed Reed, everybody come in so we can get some wins this year. Get these guys back off the injury report. So trying to get that good order come in.
The best team in the DMV is the Baltimore Ravens. Don't you agree with that? The best team in the DMV is the Baltimore Ravens.
You start in trouble. You want us to say that on the week right now.
Al, what week and year is it? That's what you
Super Bowls have y'all won since 2000?
It doesn't matter.
This is a week-to-week league, Al. This is a week-to-week league, Al.
2000 and 2010.
Right, exactly.
So how's my sound coming in? Is my sound okay?
Yeah, you sound
good. It's getting there. Yeah. So speaking of Jamie, listen, injuries play a huge factor, right? And it's not the league that you played in anymore, right? But with the way that the injuries are and the way that the players are handled, you can actually get healthier during the season, and you just don't want to be eliminated in October, right? Where you can give yourself a chance to get into the tournament later. So is it smart for players to actually listen to the medical doctors and listen to what they say, let the coaches hold them out? So when that stretch run comes, because the NFL is doing something different, they put in a lot of division games later in the season. So when those things come, that you're there, you're fully healthy. You don't have the wear and tear from the beginning of the season when those are out of conference games or things like that.
Yes, you want to have healthy players when the going gets tough and you're in division playing against division opponents because you're going to play them twice. So you need the guys that are able to respond to that second time of playing a team and really trying to turn their play to make more plays for your team. So say if I had a veteran guy like Wagner, and he's coming back from an injury, or he's a veteran player, he's played those teams before. But if I have a young kid like a rookie on his second year, and he comes back from injury, his play is going to be so much less than a veteran who's coming back from injury because they haven't played up to a level of a playoff level or seen the team a couple of times. So it's different when you have a veteran player coming back. You give them more leeway. But the young guys, you kind of just want to get those guys out there and see if they can and actually get things done. So it's a little play on your roster and how it's managed. But like you said, at the end of the year, you want to be as healthy as possible coming through November, and especially on offense with your skill positions. Some of your interior and linebackers, you can kind of fill them in. But your skill positions at wide receiver, defensive back, quarterback, you want your number one guys in there.
All right, Sid, you haven't got a question in. Come on, get one in, please.
With what you guys saw yesterday, what on the defensive side do you think they need to improve?
Kelsey, start that one off, and then we'll go to
either
Jamie. Kelsey first.
I
And then
thought
we'll
you
go
guys
to
were still
Jamie.
talking to Jamie. And hi, Jamie. Honestly, it has to be the run game, right? Like, I'm starting up front, right? The D line. Like, again, you folks, like, the Chicago has had an issue. You can go look at the past games with running the football. Yesterday was like a newfound Chicago Bears run team, right? I'm happy for DeAndre Swift because great story, great guy. But you didn't want it to happen against the Commanders. And the Commanders, were supposed to be able to honestly, it was supposed to be a factor because the Bears weren't supposed to be able to get it off, right? I think more on paper, you were looking, again, at the weapons that Chicago has, which they have a lot. And putting pressure on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams knew what it was to be sacked a lot last season. Now, luckily, this season it hasn't been as bad, but like just to put it into perspective, the Bears were averaging about 3.8 run yards per game prior to playing the Commanders. In the first half, they had already averaged 6.1. Shout out to DeAndre Swift. So all in all to say, like, I think it starts, for me, I'm a girl, it starts in the trenches, right? Like, you just can't allow that to formulate. So I think, and to Commanders fans, not understanding, like, Joe Witt does not need to be fired. Like, calm down. You got to stop the run. You got to stop the run because I think if you're able to limit him, and again, remember DeAndre Swift was able to do it both pass catching and running. He's able to be a weapon. But if you stop the run, I think it's a much different football game for that Washington Commanders team last night.
Jamie.
Right.
Jamie, can you get in there? Can you answer that question?
Yeah, I was at the actual game last night in the rain. And that's a game, NFC game, where you cannot lose. When you lose a game in NFC in your side, and it's a game that you should have won, but you fumbled it away not once but twice, those games can come back to bite you later on in the season.
Right.
So as the season goes on, you can still win somewhere down the line that you should have lost, and you grab it back. So that's what you're hoping as the season goes on. But man, I think the Commanders played well. They were dominating that third quarter up to the fourth quarter, and then it just a couple plays here or there, and just got away from them. And that fumble was just sad to see because I was just shocked.
Yeah, definitely was. It definitely was shocking. Al, come on, get in there, Lady A. Al, Lady A.
First of all, Jamie, I don't know why you wasted. I hope you had some good seats, man, because that wasn't a good watch last night. But I won't digress that way. Did any point of the game did you feel like putting the jersey back on and jumping on the field? And giving that defense some help?
You talking to Jamie?
Yeah, I'm talking to Jamie.
Play just like myself. Yeah, they have players on that defense that can make plays happen. So as long as those guys are healthy at the end of the season and they make the playoffs, that's when you'll see those defensive guys, Vaughn make plays that you'll be like, all right, that's why we brought this guy in. We brought him in to win playoff games, not just these regular season games.
I like it. We don't like to see teams coast. We don't what you would call it, like sleepwalking, right? And some of the great teams do it where they just want to get to we saw the Kansas City Chiefs do it a couple of years in a row, right? Where they were so far ahead of everyone else where they sort of just sleptwalk through the regular season. And then playoff time, they kick it up a notch, right? Their studying is more intense. The preparation is more intense. the teams that you have to prepare for is lessened, so you can be ultra focused. Jamie, tell us what that is like when it comes playoff time.
Playoff times, it's stressful. It's more mentally stressful than physically stressful in playoffs, because you understand if you've been in the playoffs before, one turnover or one missed assignment where somebody gets beat by a free touchdown over top can cost. One mistake can cost you the whole game. One mistake can cost you that playoff run. So a lot of times in the playoffs, you'll see offenses dumb down their offense to a level where they know they're not going to make mistakes. They're going to run the plays that they know, and make sure we don't make mistakes early on in a playoff game. So playoff football is a lot different than regular season. Regular season, you're trying to find your groove through the regular season in order to get to the playoffs. When the playoffs come around, though, you'll see some times where the offense is toned down a little bit, making sure we don't make any mistakes. And then our defenses, we try to make that offense to go ahead and throw interceptions or sacks or what have you. So a lot more defensive calls to actually force guys into bad situations. A lot of times the offense will tone it down a little bit.
Nice. Come on, Lady A.
Question for the both of you. All right, so we know we can't get away from the Hail Mary game, right? Last minute, we took the game. Do
We
you
just got a
think
field goal put on us.
Do you think this was payback? Was that the football gods, or we just literally just beat ourselves?
Fumbled the bag.
Exactly.
Ladies first. Let's go with Kelsey.
All right, I'll
Ladies
go
first.
yeah, no, I mean, it's so funny, right? Before this game, Jaden said, I don't want to talk about that game that was last season. For Chicago, they said they're just focused on the game. Now, I will tell you, because going on Chicago radio, Chicago felt away. The fans felt away. Now, the players can't say they didn't. They thought they had that game, right? It's supposed to be game over. The defense getting scrutinized after, right? There's a bunch that happened. And then remember how Chicago's season went after that. Look what happened in Chicago, right? Ben Johnson is there for a reason. So all that to say, I think Chicago had to have that in their minds. And then to be back in Washington just a year removed from that game, right? A season removed from that game. I definitely think that did mean something. Let's remember Caleb Williams is a DMV, right? Also, you have to win at home. Being born and bred here, I always say the DMV breeds bubblers, and it means something to win here. DJ Moore, coming back here, former Terp, right? Who, by the way, had a great game last season, right? Against Washington. I know not so much this year, which, by the way, prayers to DJ Moore. Sorry, he had to be hospitalized after the game. So definitely hope he's okay and in good treatment. But yes, I think it does mean something. But at the end of the day, there's new players, right, on this Commanders team. There's guys that were able to step up, and it's a different year, different season. I think Washington does try to keep it, obviously focused, but to me, use that. But Noah Brown also wasn't in this game, right? I mean, so again, it's a very different game. But that was special, right? I think that game did something for Washington and Chicago. Better, obviously, for Washington last season. Not so good for Chicago. But, I think the narrative changed for Caleb beginning with that football game. He hears the noise. He hears everything. He heard what was going into the game. Even after that game, people are saying, hey, Caleb really didn't play that great when you think about Washington getting 13 points off the turnovers, but he did a solid job. He protected, the football when it needed to be protected. But again, he still hears that narrative. So I kind of think it started with that. So yes, I think it definitely meant something. The players might all say, they have the PR answers or say, no, we were just focused on the football game, but they remembered.
Jamie,
but you know what? Let me say this. Hold on, let me say this. But you know what? This puts into perspective some of them games y'all won last year. I can use Atlanta, for example.
I knew you was going to use Atlanta. I already knew it.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, it was a mistake by the other team that allowed you guys to get the win. Not just Atlanta. I mean, our head coach was at the point was, but yeah, the Hail Marys, the last minute catches. So people are looking more for those things now and trying to make it tougher.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator has to adjust I know that Jay Daniels hadn't been there, but he has to adjust to do something a little bit different to allow you guys to get out faster, and I think that's gonna make a difference.
I agree with you there. We got to come up with something different to to speed us up. Whether it be like we're not going as much, we're no huddle, but we're not going as much tempo as we did last year. I've
Right.
noticed that we are at the line, substituting and things like that, but without getting into a huddle. But as far as the tempo goes to keep these guys off balance, that's not happening as much as it did last year. Um, that's the one thing that I've noticed, and that was our advantage last year because he could still talk to Jaden up until 15 seconds, and then it would limit the reads that the defense would be able, the defenses that they would be able to throw at him. So I know Jaden's ultra smart and things of that nature. So can we get into what Al really wants to talk about now,
Bills.
which is it is Cowboys week?
But I had another question for Jamie as well, because
Okay.
Jamie, you had mentioned something about last night's loss being an interconference loss and how big those come when it comes to the end of the season tiebreakers.
Yes.
Do you pay attention as a player, or does the coaching staff pay attention to those during the season when you take early losses? That, 'cause like I said, when they went out to San Diego and won, that was a good win, but it's not going to matter for anything when it comes to tiebreakers. Do the coaches talk about that to the players, or is that something that's more so they just take it game by game?
It's
I think it could be.
most of the
I'm not getting the
time the
sound.
coaches will keep it compartmentalized
Okay.
on 4 games at a time, splitting the season up 4 games at a time, trying to win 4 games. So they try to win 4 games. Once you get through that 4-game split, then you start looking at the next 4 games. So they try to isolate that with
Uh-oh.
We lost
they won't
Jim.
go into the actual division and how it works out until probably end of November, December, because half the teams have now isolated and their records keep them out of the playoffs. That's when you start talking about, all right, this is a NFC division game in our division. We may be playing we may be playing the Giants right now for the first time, but we know we're going to see them again. So we may hold some plays that we're going to go show against the Giants this time for our second time playing them. So you start getting that type of aspect later on in the season where you decide on interconference, interdivision. You play those games a little bit differently than you do just playing against a foe from another conference and they're coming in on traveling on the road. Most of the times you may give up those games on the road that's out of conference, and you know that they won't hurt you as bad as if you lost a home. Talking about it a little more. The coaches start talking about it a little more come November, December. But early on in the season, you really want to try to get past those mid part of the season and get those last 8 games. And then you start thinking about, all right, is this game going to be crucial for us to get for our seeding and also for us to get to the playoffs?
Here we go. See, you got to stay alive in October and early November to make yourself eligible for the tournament. And right now, we're still eligible for the tournament. That being the Washington Commanders are still eligible. The Dallas Cowboys, for
correct.
some unknown reason, are still eligible for the tournament.
Everybody's
Philadelphia-
eligible right now, Pete.
Well,
This is the NFL's directive. It's called everyone being relevant as long as they can, because they understand
not the Jets.
that the Jets, to
Yeah,
believe it or
Eric
not,
left the Jets.
they're still relative. Even at 0-5, they're still relative because there's so many teams at almost 500 in the AFC. They want that, like I said, it's the margin of error, the margin of difference between a professional team is so much different than like in the college ranks. So this is what the NFL pushes for. They want that whole everybody being in the mix as long as they can, because what that does is keep eyes on the TV, and that's the most important thing for them. Period. Is keeping the players
Absolutely.
safe, keeping the players safe, and eyes on the TV.
Absolutely. And you got one of the most important weeks coming up right here. It's Cowboys Commanders week right now. So as much as we do enjoy Al does enjoy ravishing in the fact that we lost to the Chicago Bears. It's now time for the Piper to be paid, right? Is that it's time to face the it's
I,
time.
I don't think
One of
that's
these
coming.
teams, one of these teams come Sunday night will have an extra L, right? Um, both defenses are searching for answers right now. Al calls the Cowboys the what do you call them, Al?
The
The
Alice Cowboys, because
he
there's
says
no D in Dallas. No
there's
D in
no D in Dallas.
Mm, false.
The Washington Commanders seem to have Swiss keys for defense, but it does, bind sometimes. It will bind you up sometimes, but at other times it drives you crazy. How many points need to be scored for someone to win this game? Um, because we know that the Cowboys have offense, and the Commanders will have to keep up. So, Jamie, I'm going to ask you first: will this scoreboard be hurting at the end of the day? How many points will be scored in this game between the Cowboys and the Commanders?
It's going to be up there. I think it's going to be a combined 65 to 70. I'm thinking
Fine.
mainly because Dallas's offense is so prolific. I mean, you got the quarterback, they have the tight end, and then they have Pickens. I don't know if CD's going to be back or not, but the fact that they can throw that ball from every level deep to the tight end and then to the running back, they just have a great offense. I was actually had a chance to go up to the Jets game, and I saw them play against the Jets, the Cowboys, and the game was kind of choppy. The game didn't actually flow well, but they still were able to get big plays against the Jets because their defense was porous. Now, the Commanders' defense is going to be a lot better than the Jets' defense because we have some better players and what have you. But I think it's going to come down to, is Jaden in our offense going to score quick, fast? They score fast, quick in that first quarter. Then I think it's going to start rolling where there's going to be a scoring machine, both sides of the ball. We're trying to put up points. And then it'll come down to a turnover. Who makes that crucial turnover in that last third quarter or fourth quarter, and it'll take the tide of the game. So I think it'll be definitely a high-scoring game. Back with the Commanders will definitely be something that can keep the
Kelsey, I got a question for you real quick. Is there any type of rivalry in being a person who covers a team, and with the other reporters that cover the team from Dallas? Do you all get into little riffs and different things or bragging rights things at the game so that you can kind of have those bragging rights until the next game or for the season, like the players may have? And I know, what I'm saying, in regards to having that, is there a rivalry within the booth as well as on the field?
I think there's always going to be that. But if we're being fair, remember, Washington being a good football team is kind of newer in the recent rivalry battles, right? Like 5 coming into town, you know what I mean? So all that to say, I feel like definitely for Baltimore, Pittsburgh, right? Ravens, Steelers, and I'm sorry, Jamie.
I'm going to go next too. That's the same thing.
Especially this season with the way Baltimore has been playing, and interestingly, the Steelers, and then and Mike Tomlin, who by the way has given us so many great quotes.
Yes.
Shout out to Mike Tomlin. I love him being a real Mike T. So I think that one, especially because Baltimore getting healthier, right? Lamar is supposed to be coming back, and some of the big injured other pieces. I think that one will be more interesting. I think what makes this one interesting though is, again, a different Dallas team. I think, I know Washington fans don't like me to say this, but Dallas right now is a top-ranked offense in terms of points scored, passing. They're doing things right. But I think defensively, but I think going back to Jamie's point, defensively is going to be what's interesting, right? Washington entered, the game prior to playing the Bears at 17. Now they've since dropped to 26 in defensive rankings, right? So Washington is going to be something that you have to look out for. But, and also, Washington, we talked about it last season too. Can they get turnovers, right? I mean, I'm forgetting the player, but there was the potential interception that Washington's defense got right.
And Mikey Sanders still.
And Mike said right, and it would make a difference, right? So all that to say, and Dak, for as talented as he is, he can make mistakes, right? That Gary Jones knows that very well. So all that took a while to pay. But all that to say, I think it's going to be very interesting. Commanders, being on the road. So I think it's going to be interesting. I got close. My prediction for Bears Commanders was 27-23. So I was closer than a lot of other people who predicted that one. Everyone kept telling me it's going to be high scoring. I said, it's going to be coming down to the defenses. And sure enough, the turnovers played a part. So I don't know. I think Dallas is going to be interesting. Again, can the defense stop a high-powered offense? But to Jamie's point, can Washington score some points? I think they're going to have to put points on the board to beat a Dallas team. So I actually think it's going to be a good matchup. And I think this is really when folks can really decide who this Washington team is that we have this season. So all in all, I think reporters' battles and rivalries haven't been as strong, Alvin, as of late until JD5 came, and then Washington kind of had something to talk about, in this battle and matchup.
Don't worry about scoring early this time, because we'll let you get plenty of points in the third and fourth quarter. Don't you worry about that. So,
are you coming down? Are you coming down, Kelsey?
To Dallas, no, I wish I could. Y'all, my schedule, when I say my schedule is crazy, I have a bunch of speaking engagements. So like October, your girl is booked, but I will be make sure those couple of hours, nobody touches me. So I will be watching very, very intently. And I have a lot of good friends in Dallas who actually work for the team. So better believe that if Washington wins, my social media will be very lit because we've been having some conversations.
Well, I will be in the building. So definitely we will talk. We will talk. Lady A.
Taking myself off of mute. So this particular game, we know it's a big rivalry. With that said, both teams coming off of a loss, some more tragic than others. How do you think, as far as the fan, that wasn't shade to you, Al? You didn't have to come off camera, but how do you think
he did disappear real quick?
He did. How do you think that the fans, because going to Dallas, that's a thing, you have Commanders fans that are in the area, you have,
and it's a takeover.
And you have fans that are coming down. So how do you think that the fans are gonna react this season? I mean, it's always exciting, but given the nature of the two teams right now, how do you think that that's gonna play out on Sunday night? For both Kelsey and Jamie.
Let's start with Kelsey.
Yeah, this is always a good one. Like, even if the Commanders are bad, right? Like, people are going to go to Dallas. Like, Dallas week is a thing. If you've grown up in this area, it's like it's integrated into the blood. So all that to say, but again, you think about Jaden Daniels. Again, you think about where he's come from. He's played on the big stages. Like, I think the biggest thing again is just going to be health of this team. I think something people need to remember is the potential pieces Washington might get back. Right. We're looking at Terry, right? Maybe if he's able to come back in that quad injury. Noah Brown also could potentially be back. And Sam Cosmi, folks, potentially he needs to come back October 22nd, right? So all that to say, if Washington gets healthy, I think this is definitely going to be a much different game. So I think definitely watch the injury report list. I think that's going to play a factor. But yeah, the fans, I think, matter. But again, Jada Daniels is someone who I trust on the road in any stadium, right? And I think he's going to be able to bounce back. So, but if anything, that's why I say I think the fans will kind of come more into play for the defense, right? And can the defense, be able? But that's when the veteran. We talked about the old man defense, but that's when the veteran play and leadership probably comes in handy, right? Bobby Wagner knows a thing or two. Von Miller, like all those guys know a thing or two about playing on the road in hostile environments. So, I think Dallas is great to play. But if you talk about a statement win, winning in Dallas could do it for Washington, especially coming off a tough primetime loss. But then also you talked about on the other side, like I thought it was crazy. I switched my TV to the Panthers-Cowboys game, and I couldn't believe it. Like, wow. And I think that's done something for the Panthers, a team that doesn't get talked about enough. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting because Washington, I have on my radar. I think people are already talking about the P word, the playoffs. It's still early again in this team. But I will say, folks, can I just say this on the show? The Atlanta Falcons, and I tweeted this, people thought it was crazy. The Atlanta Falcons offense is interesting. It's something to watch for, something to look out for. Bijan Robinson, my gosh, a dog. Like, I'm loving football this season. But all I'll say,
you can't say things like that when said here. You can't.
The Falcons offense deserves to be talked about a lot more. I'm going to do my job in media to talk about them, and he should too.
Don't worry, I kind of said something sir.
He already has the big head. He already has the big head. Now we try to keep him humble. We try to keep him humble and remind him that his Georgia Bulldogs are not doing so great. They have to keep coming
Fair.
back every week. But then he turns to Sunday and goes, "My Falcons got me." No, your Falcons lost the bye week for everybody. Bijan Robinson was not available for my fantasy team. I took a bad L. Come on, stop playing.
That's all right. He made up for it yesterday.
He did.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Man.
He sure did because he beat you. Back to sales. He did. Oh man, Jamie, what do rivalry games mean to
Shout
you
out
and
to
to players? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
shout out to Bijan. He's on my son's fantasy team, so he was our first pick, and he's definitely been putting up points the whole season. So I'm glad we grabbed him. But I think we talk about Dallas and the Commanders rivalry. I mean, it's always gonna be a great game. But like Kelsey said, I mean, the offense is gonna come to play. Jaden's gonna do his thing. But the one ace we have in our hand here is Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has seen Dak Prescott in practice. He's seen how he reacts in games, and he's always going to have something to really go after Dak with. So that's the one trump we have is Dan Quinn, and the fact that he's seen Dak and knows his weaknesses. We're going to try to make him.
I love how Sid just
those
laughed.
mistakes.
I love how Sid just laughed. I love how,
Shade.
because don't forget, Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Falcons, just like Kyle Shanahan. So Sid holds grudges. He does hold grudges. He holds grudges. He does. There's nobody more grudgy than Sid. He's a Southern Bulldog and a Falcon at the same time. So he got sharp talent. And he's stubborn.
Hey, Jamie, I got a question for you, Jamie. Like you said, the rivalry between the Redskins and the Cowboys is a heated rivalry. Only one that may mirror that one is the Pittsburgh and the Ravens.
Thank you, Al.
Being a guy who's been in those type of rivalries, from a player perspective, is there more focus that week, or is it more of a quiet confidence because you know who you're playing, you're familiar, so you can just focus? What preparation for a real – it's different. I mean, is it different? Here's a question I have as well. Is it different that week when you're playing somebody that you just don't like and you know they just don't like you either?
Well, yeah, that's one part of it, but it really is an interdivisional rivalry. Seeing those guys so many times. You may see them twice in the season, then you see them 3 times in the off season, going to different functions. So you see these guys too much, so you know exactly who they are, who their girlfriend is, who their wife is. You know everything about these people. So you go into that game and you're just going at them, trying to get that win, but you know so much about your opponent. You know, and the thing about Baltimore and the Pittsburgh rivalry is that our coaches have been around so long. Harbaugh and Tomlin been around so long that they're not going to change too much, but they're going to make sure it's all about physicality and who's the toughest actual player on the field that day. With Dallas and now the Commanders, Dallas has an offensive coordinator that's been the years, but they have a different head coach now. He has more on his plate. And then we know Commanders, we've been they've been together for 2-3 years, and they have an offensive coordinator that stays in the actual office. It's gonna be a little different than just smash mouth Baltimore Ravens versus Steelers, where it's the same thing, running Lamar, handing the ball off to Henry, and then now they have the new quarterback there in Pittsburgh. But it's going to be a definitely different type of ball game, maybe more scoring. I'm thinking when the Commanders and the actual Cowboys game than it would be a Ravens versus Steelers game.
Absolutely.
I got to say it. Let's get say one more question in here real quick.
Okay. Keys for the game on Sunday. What we got?
Oh, okay.
I think first one, obviously protecting the football, right? Again, you look at that Bears game and it's a much different game. So, and I don't think what we saw from Jaden Obviously, Bill, as he likes to be called, Ja'Cory Grosky-Merritt, I think he'll have to clean up the fumbles, but definitely knowing that's something that he'll probably work on. But protection of the football is one. I think second thing, obviously, Commanders defense. Like, because Dallas is so high-powered, they're going to have some answers, right? So I think the defensive play is going to be big. So if they're able to get a turnover again, I'm sorry, Alvin, to say it, but Dak is still Dak, and he is still prone to do something with the football. I think that will obviously work in the Commanders' favor. And then we talked about it on the show, like if Washington can get out scoring early on the road and build some momentum, I do think that will be something, special in this football game, because that's what made Washington so special last season and why they were able to get to the NFC championship game last season. So all that to say, I think those are my three keys for the game. So erase what happened Monday night. It's a brand new game. It's rivalry week. Jaden knows what's on his shoulders. But I like where Washington is trending. But again, my biggest piece for keys to the game, just you need a healthy Washington team, I think, to truly make this a good rivalry game.
Jamie.
I think my keys is going to come down to our defense, Commanders defense. Those veteran players that we know of will come out there and make Cowboys. And he's on turf. He's going to be able to make his moves, and he's going to be able to do some things that he hasn't done in a couple of games. I think Vaughn will get his first sack. And I think the second key to the game will be how the coaching staff takes the pressure off of Jaden and our running back Merritt. Those guys, from costing that one game, they're going to feel a lot of pressure to try to do too much coming into the Dallas game. So what early plays can they call to take the pressure off those guys early and not pressing in the early game, trying to compensate for a lost game or against the Bears? I want to make a play, and then they'll double up on a mistake. So we'll see how the coaching staff can take that pressure off those guys on offense, and then I think the defense is going to make its plays. It's a veteran defense we Commanders have, and they're going to make plays against Dak, with Dan Quinn calling different things for them to force Dak into pressure situations. The defense is going to play well, which is
Good.
Make sure that the offense
question.
doesn't turn the ball over early, and that early pressure in a division game.
Good question there, Sid. Thank you. Sid's got to run, of course. Challenge out, dogs up. We know how you do, Sid. Thank you.
They get said.
Yeah, be safe. All right. Listen, you're watching First Thing Podcast here with Kelsey, Nicole Nelson, and Super Bowl champion Jamie Sharper from Baltimore Ravens. Man, listen, speaking of rivalries, when the Ravens and the Steelers played, it seemed to always be a primetime game. And I believe it was maybe, I can't remember the broadcaster. It may have been John Madden that said, it's like always in the alley. It's always at night. Did it feel that way to you guys when you were there? Like, I mean, y'all knew each other so well, like you said earlier, that, hey, here we go, prime time again. Nobody else is playing but us. It's us versus them. It's like Michael Jackson in the Beat It video when you bump into the guy in the alley, tie the hands off and let's get at it. Did it feel that way to you guys?
The big thing that some of the coaches I played with Baltimore always talked about was just doing your job. The pressure is going to be the pressure. You're going to play your hardest against rivalry. Make sure your individual job at the beside team going total unit. Probably the pressure that kind of takes it off of you a little bit if you just concentrate on your individual job of what you got to get done. But then a lot of times in rivalries, what I've seen different rivalries, that it's always a different, like it's not the same leader, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and maybe actual tight end. It's not the same linebacker, DN, safety. It may be the third string cornerback makes a play, or somebody on special teams. In rivalries, it always comes down to somebody didn't think was going to come up and make a big play that helps them turn the tide and get that win, whether it be special teams or somebody's coming out to make. So it's always interesting with rivalries. Like sometimes it's like that somebody don't think is going to be like the name star player, but it's somebody who's just been concentrating on what they had to do, and their time's called, and they end up making a play to turn the tide. Because we have evenly matched teams like the Commanders and the actual Cowboys, and then you have the Ravens, and we're not supposed to be matched up against the Steelers with our record. But once we get these guys back in the fold and get healthy, we'll be right back to where we need to be. So it's going to be a great end of the season. We talk about October football, and in Maryland it's finally getting a little colder, so we can start just running the ball more and being more physical. But it's going to be a great season, like Alvin said. Man, NFL loves this. NFL has its games plastered on every
parody,
YouTube, Prime, ABC, CBS. I mean, so many different ways to see the game. And a lot of times now I got to figure out, do I have that streaming service, or do I need to borrow my friends' sign in to try to get the game? I mean, so many different ways you got to get the game now. It's crazy. But it's definitely a good season for NFL football. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm glad that, thank you for all the teams. And then but the Bills took a dive, which I'm glad about that because they were hyping them up too much. I'm glad they took a dive. And then some of these other teams,
Eddie Hayes happy
that
about
they've been trying to hype up so much, but now everybody's coming around that same corridor that Alvin said. Everybody's kind of on the same level now.
Get back to the pack. Bring them back to the pack. Come on, Lady A. I know you got a question.
Well, first I want to say that, I completely agree. Someone needed to humble the Canadian Bills. I agree.
She's such a hater. Go ahead.
I know that the Alice Cowboy fan did not call me the hater. I'm just saying, whatever. But it does sound like both of you believe that this particular game coming up on Sunday is going to live up to expectations. Now, on the flip side, for both teams, actually, if there is a major loss in this game, how do you think that will impact the organization? Because rivalries like this, you cannot lose. And that's, like I said, on both sides of the ball. You just, both teams, they feel like you just can't lose this. How do you feel a loss, like especially a large loss, will affect the organizations on both sides?
Start with Kelsey.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes back to, honestly, the conversation you guys were having earlier.
I feel that.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
Somebody got to go.
No, go ahead.
Okay. We can share. No, I was just saying, I feel like it goes back to the conversation you all had earlier. Like part of the great thing that makes the Ravens-Steelers rivalry so great, and again, we'll see what happens with Baltimore this season, is those two teams know they'll see each other in the postseason, right? Like it's not just now, like because the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, his bar is like they always get to the postseason, and then Harbaugh, again, we'll see what happens with Baltimore this season because I don't even know if the P word should be mentioned, but it means something. And then we also know it's going to be a physical game, right? And even now, I think I'm actually excited about that game because Patrick Queen's on the other side of the football. You're not supposed to do that, right? There's just so many different added pieces. But going back to Washington, I think what will make this game, special, like you said, it's a rivalry game, but you're going to see them again. And these are two teams that, again, at the beginning of the season, people thought would make the postseason. And so, I think there's high expectations for both squads. Dallas, I think it does really mean something more because Jerry Jones is an interesting one, folks. Like, Micah Parsons found that out. But props to Micah Parsons and excited to see him, continue to grow with newfound grass out in Green Bay. But, Dak has had to prove, I think, a lot. The Cowboys, obviously, they are the most popular team. I know Washington fans don't like to hear that, right? But it's a different level of success for them.
Language.
But for the Cowboys, coming off a loss to the Panthers, right? The Carolina Panthers, a team that no one talks about outside of Charlotte. I do think that this game means something again, and they're at home. But then for Washington, again, you came off a primetime loss. But again, a game that most people had picked Washington to win. So I think it's a little bit more important for Dallas to win this game. But, again, I think Washington, it does something for the young guys on the squad to win. A name that we haven't talked about in the show at all, I think, is Jalen Lane. And I think he's somebody, I think I want to see how Washington can maybe use him a little bit more, because I also don't think he's special. Very few guys I always call a stud, but I think he's a stud and something special in the making if used properly. So all in all to say, I think Washington is going in this game, knowing you got Jaden Daniels back. He's trying to get back to 100%. But if they get their key pieces back, there's if Terry comes back and Noah, there's a reason. And Debo being Debo, and again, now has another week to get healthier, because again, he was a question mark before the last game. I do think that this does something for Washington. But what Washington has built, no one's going to discredit last season. If Washington loses this game, I still don't think anyone's going to write Washington off, because there's something special here. But for Dallas, again, I think just coming out that Panthers game and what happened, I know it was one of those crazy endings like we keep seeing in the National Football League. But yeah, Dallas, with Jerry, with Dak, with all the storylines heading into the season, and with the pieces they've picked up, right, with Pickens, and you can look at so many different things. I think, Dallas needs this win. Dallas needs this win, or we will not hear the last of it in sports talk radio, sports talk media for the entire week. And Al knows that.
I promise you I will help with that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jamie. I promise I will help with that too, Kelsey. But go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Kelsey. The Cowboys are playing at home, so that's the number one thing. They're playing at home. You can't give up your games, in interdivisional games at home. And then the fact that Dan Quinn's coming back in the house, he's going against a former officer coordinator at a job that he probably should have had before he left. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on, all right, proving him right, Jerry Jones, and what he did and beating the Commanders. So I think it's a little bit more pressure on the Cowboys. But going back to what Kelsey said about McLaurin coming back, if McLaurin comes back and plays, then the pressure kind of swings a little bit to the Commanders. But if McLaurin doesn't play and then CD doesn't play, it's like you got a built-in excuse by both sides of why we didn't win. We didn't have our number one receiver. But once that number one receiver plays and you have most of your guys there on offense, then it's like, all right, the pressure kind of swings a little bit to who has their guys, or their number one guys. So I think definitely the pressure is more on Cowboys right now. But we talk about the rivalry and all the people that are going to be down there. So there's a lot of people traveling from D.C., Maryland, VA, going down to the big Jerry Land stadium and everything.
You should all check my social media.
It'll definitely be fun. I just want to see if the running back can bounce back. Yep.
Hey, Jamie, I'm hearing a little favoritism towards these Washington Commanders.
Don't try to sway against.
You slipped up early and said we, and then you corrected it and said them. I want to make sure, man. I want to make sure your loyalty is lying and right back. I'm just asking.
You heard whose stadium he was in.
I'm from.
You heard.
I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
That's right.
From Richmond, Virginia. So I grew up on the Fun Bunch. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on the Fun Bunch and the Redskins. So it's kind of like I was rooting for him. I was just talking to Daryl Green, about some business stuff a couple of days ago. I just know a lot of Redskins. So
listen, Shan. Don't let Al's bias towards Dallas sway you at all. Listen, check my social media all weekend. I'm gonna be out and about with this takeover. I'm gonna show you what it's like to be on the road with the Washington Commanders and the fans this weekend. I got you covered there. So. We will be out everywhere having a ball. And I will keep everyone posted on where we are. Jersey parties, go-go bands are coming down, all of it. It's a whole big thing. You guys know from when we took over Atlanta to now, and we can't wait to go back and take over Philly because they didn't like what we did. So we're going to do it again. Lady A should have followed up on this. Sid had a great question. And then Jamie, you actually led into this. You said it is unexpected players that make plays in rivalry games. And Kelsey, you said you can't wait to see what Jaden Lane does. You think that he's a stud. Can you all give me a player from both teams? And I want two games. I want the Pittsburgh Ravens game and I want the Cowboys Commanders game. Give me a player from both teams that we should be on the lookout for to make a play that, one play doesn't define a game, but contributes to a win. Let's start with you, Jamie.
Somebody, I think.
Jamie,
You want me to start off?
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted you to start, Jamie. Yeah.
Well, Well, the Ravens, Commanders, and the Steelers game when that happens, I think it's gonna come down to Quinn. No, not Quinn, but what's the linebacker that came from Baltimore to the Steelers?
Queen.
What's his name?
Yeah,
the
Patrick Queen.
The linebacker.
Queen.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Patrick Queen.
Queen. I said Quinn. I said Queen. Patrick Queen. I think it'll come down to him making a play. I mean, he's mad he didn't get paid by Baltimore. He's always getting some kind of get back. And, linebackers at Baltimore have been struggling a little bit over the last year and a half with finding somebody to compensate with Roquan. And Roquan will be just coming back off of injury and all that. So I think it'll be something where Queen will try to make some plays. And as soon as he does, he's going to rub it in the Ravens' face. So that's one guy I'm looking at. Probably will try to have a good game when that rivalry happens. Besides him on the ball, I think he's going to be trying to really get his thing rolling and not fumble the ball. But when we switch over to the Cowboys game and the Commanders, I think one thing will be the wide receivers. I think those wide receivers, when I saw that Bears game, they really made some plays on the ball. The ball was close to them. They made a catch. They really were excited to make something happen. And I think they're really trying to prove themselves. McLaurin got the money, but I think those other second, third tier players and wide receivers for the Commanders are really trying to get Jaden Daniels' eye. Like, throw it to me too. All right, McLaurin comes back. Remember me. I got you through these 2-3 games, So those guys have made some plays. I think in the game, those backup receivers really making a big time statement game against Dallas. And then as McLaurin comes back, they won't just be 1 and 2. They'll be 1 and 1A, hopefully, where they're getting about 7-8 attempts per game. And it really can spur the Commanders on to the end of the season. So those backup receivers, I think, are going to make some plays for the Commanders.
Okay. Kelsey.
Yeah, the Baltimore game, I definitely think Patrick Queen is gonna. But I think when it comes to Baltimore, it's easy to say Derrick Henry, right? I mean, this has been an uncharacteristic season for Derrick Henry, right? Like, King Henry's supposed to pound through anything. The fumbles, right? There's just so many different things that you could point to. But something interesting is happening in Baltimore, where I know a lot of people are calling for Coach Harbaugh's head, but also people are realizing the importance of Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry, Cooper Rush is not it. And meaning I was so frustrated the last game. You pull Tyler Huntley up from the practice squad. You put him in the fourth quarter of this last game. You really can't do much, right? And then the game before that, he's there, but you're not using him. But all that to say, Lamar Jackson, who got robbed of MVP last season, he should be MVP. But anyways, I think people are realizing the importance of Lamar Jackson. But all that to be said, there's been a narrative around Lamar and people wondering, if his heart's in it and all these different things. And Lamar's one guy I'm never in questions if his heart is in the football game. He loves football. If you've been around the guy, if you've watched the guy, that's somebody I'm never questioning their passion for the game. But all in all, I think people are realizing more of his importance. And obviously, I know that's an easy answer to say. I can't even point to anybody in the defense because Baltimore's defense has been atrocious. I trust no one. I trust no one on Baltimore's defense. I'm not even going to say a name. They've been that bad. But yeah, I think offensive wise, Lamar you just need Lamar to do something. Make the fact that they can't score now, they went from being one of the top offensive scoring teams this season to now just at a standstill. So, Lamar Jackson is special for a reason. I think for the Commanders, it's going to be interesting. I think Jamie alluded to it, the young receivers, right? I think are something to keep an eye on. I think because defenses are still finding out about them, right? And of course, like I said, I think, the speed of Bill Croskett-Merritt, man is fast. I think if he can get going, I think it'll be something. But Luke McCaffrey is something a lot of people are looking at. But I'm also still trusting my old guys. Like I said, I mean, Zach Ertz kind of started a little bit hot. I think he needs to be used more. He had one target in that Chargers game. Like, I think for your first downs that you're going to have to get, if Dallas puts the defense on, you're going to need just some sure hands. But all in all to say, like, I would love to see Washington use these young receivers more. If Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, if those other guys aren't able to go, teams are still trying to find tape on them. Teams are still trying to figure them out. Washington needs to use that, to their advantage. So if Cliff Kingsbury can do something crafty and different, there's something to be said about, and knowing Jaden can get the ball, to anyone, there's something special to be said. But also Jaden I need him to be more elusive and escape more. So I'm also looking at this offensive line.
Keep running that kid. You're going to get him hurt, Kelsey.
I think, but you know what? But Jaden is smart. I know there's questions about him sliding last season, but he's a smart guy. And like I said, he protects the football. And sometimes he's going to have to be like a Lamar and just put the team on his back and get done what needs to get done. And I think this Dallas game is going to be one where we're going to need to see a little bit more from Jaden. Because I do think Dallas's defense is, even if there's questions, I do think Dallas, rivalry is so different. And I think Jaden's going to have to step up a bit, especially coming off this last game. Because Washington, we know they can score, and they just weren't able to prove that in this last game.
Yeah.
All right. Final questions, because our guests have given us so much time, and we really do appreciate all of your time that you've given us, and we enjoy having you all, but we are respectful of your time and the time that you give us. So Al, last question.
My last question, being that both of you all are from, I'm gonna go to the most talented roster in the DMV, which I feel is the Baltimore Ravens roster. The question is, they're 1-5, but 11 games left. Can Baltimore, for both of you all, can Baltimore make a run to get back in the playoff chase and possibly win the division? And if so, what do they need to do outside of Lamar being healthy, which we know is an obvious one? And whoever wants that first can go at it.
Let's start with Jamie.
I hope so. I can't say that it will happen, but I hope so.
Okay.
And I think we're talking about with Lamar, he loves football, like Kelsey says, but I'm just trying to figure out, is he going to be the running Lamar, throwing Lamar, or he's going to be the sitting the pocket ball Lamar, taking a sack Lamar? So that's the problem that I'm having. He just sat in the pocket the whole time trying to throw the ball and never tried to run. And I never got any word why it was that way, or why he does that sometimes, or is he trying to prove something, or is he trying to make sure he get his money? With the Bills and Allen, he'll run his nose through somebody to try to get a touchdown or a first down. He don't care what it is. If he can't throw an interception here or there, he'll run. And I just shock me when Lamar doesn't do that. It just shocks me sometimes when I watch the games. But it'll be definitely interesting. They need luck. They need a little bit.
Okay.
Dug a quick hole. Kelsey?
If Cincinnati didn't get Flacco, but now Cincinnati's going to win a couple of games that they shouldn't have. They didn't have a quarterback. So it's like it'll take some games away from Baltimore and everybody in that division, So, I mean, Flacco's going to get the ball to them people now. He'll get the ball to those receivers now. He
will do that.
It's going to be a different Cincinnati Bengals squad. So I hope so that Baltimore can make a run, and I'm pushing for them. But we have to see it and get back together again late October and see if they're at least close to 500 or over. Then if everybody's healthy, then they can make a run.
Well, they can't take an L this week because they got a bye week, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, actually, they can. They can lose a bye. I've seen teams lose their bye weeks.
Oh, my God.
I remember when the Detroit Lions went winless, they lost their bye week. The bye beat them, so yeah. Kelsey.
And remember that Chicago Bears really weren't that good coming off bye weeks, right? That's where there were some people who were a little bit scared about that game. They were 2-10 coming into that game. So there are some teams you get scared about coming off a bye week. But to answer your question, I don't know, Baltimore, No one predicted this. Like people had Baltimore going to the Super Bowl. Like they were riding on a high, especially like Baltimore's not supposed to be bad, right? Like it's crazy. I've seen the ticket prices dropping like crazy. Like this is uncharacteristic, especially the defense. Like you look, I mean, we're talking about like this is one of the worst starts in Baltimore like franchise history. Like not supposed to happen to the Ravens. So all that to say, like I'm looking at the coaching in Baltimore. I think it's just more than the football team. I never want anybody to lose their job. We all got mouths to feed, but something needs to change in Baltimore. And honestly, this is when I want the passionate coach. Like, I'm just so tired of hearing the same old responses when John Harbaugh gets to that microphone. Like, I want you to be pissed, coach. Like, what's happening is unacceptable. Like I said, that's what I did love about Jaden. Like, even though the loss was not just on him, like, I mean, he felt that. He felt that. And I think sometimes even for Lamar, I think some people, want that too. Like, you just need to feel it. Like, so all that to say, in Baltimore, like Justice Hill, I mean, there's some guys who I think you can kind of rely on. But I'm trusting no one in Baltimore. I think this bye week, I think it's a mental thing that needs to happen with Baltimore. Like, this is new to them. This is new territory. I mean, and Coach Harbaugh, something inspiring just needs to happen. Like, I mean, they've had these legends of the game come in. Jamie, you said some of those names that have been there. I mean, like before the last game, it was so nice to see Tom Brady and Ray Lewis like reminiscing. But then you look at the final score. But all in all to say, I know I'm being tough on Baltimore. They start the game pretty solid, right? Like the game gets crazy a lot of times, like in the second half and later on. So like the start is really not the issue, but at the same time, like Baltimore, it's always been a question if they can start fast. So I think if anything, like they have to get some type of offensive rhythm. Everything just looks off. So your question for Baltimore, there's a lot. Like I would have 3 pages written of all the things that need to change in Baltimore. We don't have enough time to go through all those. But all in all to say, like offensively, like they just need guys to step up. Like Flowers, like guys need to step up, right? Like, I mean, you need playmakers at the end of the day in Baltimore. So I'm asking anybody on that Ravens roster, do something. like do something.
I like it.
There's a lot that needs to happen.
I like it. Kelsey said, "Do something." Kelsey said,
do something
like,
good.
She said, well, "Listen, remember, coaches used to say, I don't care if you jump off sides, just do it with some enthusiasm. Just do something with some enthusiasm." Lady A, last question.
So really quick, we did mention coaches, but I'm just going to say it. Jamie, you played some years ago. When we look at the NFL as a whole right now, we see some changes. There are rule changes. You see the officials taking a whole different, I guess, demeanor on the game nowadays. To both Jamie and Kelsey, can you give me a little insight on how you feel that the rule changes and just the way that the officials handle the games now have impacted the NFL today?
Let's start with Kelsey.
Okay, go to Jamie.
It's definitely a washed down league.
Soft.
It is.
Yeah.
As Michael Irvin
It's
said,
definitely a washed down league. It's not as physical. When you see a defensive lineman for a sack, a defensive lineman going for a sack, and he just hugs the quarterback like this and just keeps him up, just hugs the quarterback. It's like, it just makes my stomach turn,
I had to.
But the sad part about it, guys don't know how to tackle. Yep, guys don't know how to tackle, and it's making some of these running backs look like superhuman, like Bijan did the other day. Safety's coming down, just diving in at people's legs and just missing them. So it's kind of like they don't. There's no way for them to actually make a play sometimes in open space because you can't blow somebody up over the middle. So a lot of these safeties and some of these guys coming from the outside, they don't know how to tackle and take one of their thigh boards out or one of their legs out, and they don't wrap it all. It's bad defensive football. But on the offensive side, 2-3 years ago, it was definitely a lot more scoring going on and a lot more explosive offenses. Now I think you see a lot of defensive adjusting where they're just overloading the offensive linemen. The offensive line is the weakest players now in NFL football. And that's mainly because of, so everybody knows that offensive linemen, they just can't take one-on-one speed rushes. They can't take overload where they're not sure which guy to pick up. So now defense is just overload the ball earlier and they're just tackling guys in space. So they're slowing down some of the offenses now until those offensive line start getting a little bit better and start really understanding. You get a better offensive line, you can start making more plays down the field. But right now, the state of football is not like it was in my offenses were better and they were complicating for the actual defense. But now the defense have caught up a lot more now, and they're blitzing more and really covering these guys. I'm waiting to see if the tide was going to change from wide receivers getting all the money, wide receivers and quarterbacks to running backs. Because when Henry had that year last year, and then
Saquon,
the Eagles, Saquon had the year last year, I was hoping that the next year keep running the ball well and the running backs start doing great things so they can get their money that they deserve. They haven't been getting paid like they should have. So I was hoping that the offenses would change to more running backs centric offenses, but we haven't seen much besides Bijan and then Taylor job. We haven't really seen like a whole lot of guys doing outstanding at running back. So it's kind of hard to see which ones are scoring as much points. And then I thought it would be more run game dominant, but the running backs aren't doing too much either. When you're talking about what the Derrick Henry and Saquon did last year. So maybe this next 2 months, things will change and we'll see a little bit more runs and more guys putting up big numbers. Because the guy, little kid Dowdle down in Carolina, he put up some good yards just running the ball. So I'm interested to see if it's going to be more offense or is it going to be the same blitzing by loading up the fronts with 6-7 guys against the offensive line and just getting the ball out quick. And so it's definitely a softer game, but the main problem is that offensive line is not as well as good as it was back. Jonathan Ogden was on my team, Walter Jones, when I played 1 year in Seattle, offensive tackles that could block not just one player, they could block two people with opposite hands. They could just so strong and so agile. Now you can't find an offensive tackle that can block one guy the whole game. You just can't find it. They'll trade and they'll let an offensive tackle go into free agency. He'll bounce around all over the place. There's no dominant offensive tackle right now. I hear more about offensive guards than I do about offensive tackles nowadays in different schemes. So,
well, yeah,
we'll see how things go, but it's definitely a different world in NFL right now.
Definitely, and they say the running game comes as the seasons change. Kelsey.
No, I agree with everything JV said. Honestly, he articulated so well. Probably the only thing I'd add, just from a consumer standpoint, like the taunting penalties, they just need to stop. Like, these are grown men. Let the guys play football. Let them celebrate. Like, it annoys me, when you have these. Like, that's the fun part, right? Like, I love Baker just had that great quote right after Tez Johnson's touchdown, after Tez Johnson did the flip in the end zone. Like, he's like, I haven't weighed 142 pounds since 6th grade, right? Like, I just thought that was so great. So, like, just let the guys have fun, bring it back. Like, I just think those are unnecessary. It's good for the game. Like, if you want to get mad, do it on the football field, right? Like, the whole, Brian Branch thing. Like, if he has a problem with Juju, we would have rather it be handled on the football field than after the game. But by the way, him pulling him by the ear might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen. But you shouldn't do that, folks, right? Keep your hands to yourself. Except, just do it on the football field.
Between the lines when it's legal.
Yeah, the referees, just let the guys play. Just let the guys play. Like, it's football. So that would be my only thing I'd add to what Jamie said.
Well, listen, I want to thank both of you for giving us the time. We will have both of you back. Jamie, you, that lady right there, when we get in contact with you, man, it's because we want you, because you have great stories to tell. You have great insight for us. We really do appreciate you coming on and give us the time. Plus, we love Super Bowl champions coming on and telling us, what it is they did and how they did it. Gives us great insight. That's what set First String Podcast away from anybody, separate from any other podcast out there. We keep Super Bowl champions coming through. We do so, and we keep journalists such as Kelsey Nelson.
Definitely great. Al can always let me know if he needs to reach another player or any guys that I know. I'll tell him to come on. And I'll definitely be following you at Toothpick74 and at Lady
Yes, sir.
Antoinette.
Yes,
And like I said,
thank you so
and
much.
all you got to do is turn on the TV, you'll see Kelsey everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, like I said,
No, I want the follow button too. Look, I agree with what Kel said. I want to see my follower up too.
absolutely.
Yes. Listen, we enjoyed you guys, especially Miss Kelsey, Jamie. It's just wonderful having you guys on. Um, thank you. This is where our show tends to get weird, so we let you guys go. We're about to give Al a couple of minutes to tell us who he's gonna have in his foursome. We're gonna go around the NFL. We're gonna talk a little, crazy football, and we may get into some
It's golf
WNBA, even though that season's
foursome.
over.
It's golf.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's that time. It's that time. Thank you all for giving us your time. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you give Kelsey Nelson a follow. Make sure you guys follow Jamie Sharper as
guys.
well. They are amazing people, and
Yes.
thank you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you so much for your time, definitely.
Man,
Yeah,
listen,
put y'all two
that
up
was
top. Put y'all two up top. Leave me down here by myself. So I can see all
Where you need
all,
to be.
all me right here. That's what I want to be.
we need to put you on timeout. How about that one?
Nah, don't worry about the timeout, man. I was the timeout enough as a kid. Don't worry about that.
Listen,
Don't
listen,
say.
we really did enjoy all the time that Kelsey gave us, that Jamie gave us. Man, it gives you so much insight as to what the players go through,
Yeah.
for rivalry games, what they're looking at, and playoff time and things of that nature. So we definitely will have them back. We'll have some of our other folks back. We got to take the show down for a second. Al.
Oh yeah. Man, like I said, also I'm gonna, Kelsey might have known him, but just wanted to take a moment, man, to send our condolences once again. Last week it was Lawrence Moulton and his family, with the loss of them, a good friend of mine, and then unfortunately, bad news to share again. The loss of a Maryland Terp, Eleanor Roosevelt Raider, good friend of mine,
Glenarm track team.
on track team, then on
Yes.
Roosevelt track team, high school rivalry. Just a good friend,
Yes.
all around great guy. I actually worked in the guest services at the Northwest Stadium as well. But like I said, all around good guy. Lost Mansell Johnson, man, gone definitely too soon. I just want to send a shout out to his family, to his friends, all of us that knew him. We miss you, big guy, man. Like I said, man, look down upon us, man, and keep and just like I said, just keep living. We're gonna keep living for you, man. That's all we can say, man. It's the best thing you can do for anyone that you know have lost, man. Let their legacy live through you, and to keep living your life to that it may shine to others, so that they can know that light still lives on within you. So,
Al, we gotta talk about this, man. We gotta talk about this. We gotta
yeah,
talk
Maryland
about
Cap wants
Bowie.
to slam too.
We gotta talk about Bowie versus Roosevelt, our track teams.
It was big
We
guy.
had battles with them, man. We had battles with them.
Yes, we did.
Our 4x1s with them was legendary,
4x1,
man. And always
4x4, everything.
4x4s, all of it. When you listen, I remember one time, I think we switched it up. It was John, then me, and like Aaron. You switched it up, and the only thing I heard behind me, like John got out, maybe it was Aaron got out. And the only thing I heard behind me was tap, 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 tap. I can't let this dude catch me.
Yeah.
I can't. When you hear that tap, 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 you can't let it happen. But Manny was so long and his kick was so crazy, man.
And Mike ran against him a lot too, as well. And you all, like I said, the 4x4 and the 4x2 and the 4x1. But like I said, when I think back to those rivalries, they were one of the best teams in the nation, as were we. But they were definitely one of the best. And we pushed each other, I believe.
Yes.
And they pushed us to be better. And the talents that grew through the rivalry, man, you can't discredit that enough. How much having someone that you see and you, there's a respect there, but it also was a dislike there. And both of those, it was a comfortable level of both, where you respected them but disliked them. But we were all great friends off the track. But when we
all
set
friends,
but inside the track, we were competitors, and we pushed each other to be better. And you have a number of Division I athletes, football, track. Maybe just a number. I mean, like I said, we pushed each other to be better, and also to get our schooling paid for. So that was an important thing too. So, You can always appreciate that. But like I said, I got a like I said, huge condolences and prayers to the Roosevelt family, the Maryland family, and of course the Johnson family on his loss. And
Yeah. Yeah, Manny was one of those dudes that I sort of looked up to, man. Manny was one of those dudes I looked up to, and then when he started playing football, oh man, I couldn't wait to lay Manny out.
long and lean.
Oh,
Break the
long
break
and
up.
lean.
They called him Bones for a reason.
Yes, bro. Manny coming across the middle. Hey, oh, you about to feel all 114 pounds of toothpick, bro. You finna get all of it. And I was not holding nothing back. Oh
Think
man.
about this, Lady A. We had a toothpick and a Bones. So you know what? It wasn't nothing but a whole bunch of people getting hit on that field, or looking to get hit on that field. It was a lot of loose jerseys, as you would probably know, being worn by those two.
I had the shoestring at the bottom of mine, Al. I had the shoestring at the bottom of mine. I learned that trick from Rico in college. No, Dave Clark taught me that. Dave Clark taught me that. You put the shoestring at the bottom so your jersey won't be loose. They can't pull you. Got you. I got you. Yeah, no. And Al showed me, put the armbands, put the wristbands all the way up, tuck your jersey under your wristband.
Yeah, baby, tuck
Yep.
in, look a little
Tuck it
buff,
in.
and make your veins pop out too, Lady A.
It make you man. Yep.
So you look a little
All the
strong out
tricks.
there.
I had all the tricks, and I wore the extra big thigh pads.
Now, Pick ain't have any muscles to make look strong,
No.
but he at least
Wait.
I told him at least put the white headbands on so we can see just differentiate between everything, so we can see what's rolled up and what's not rolled up. So
Hey, Al sent the picture. Al sent the picture to me. We was getting ready. Al, we was getting ready to play.
I think we was getting ready for a game or practice. I can't remember, but it was an old picture.
I think it was a game. No, it's a game. That
It had
wasn't
to be a
practice.
game.
That
We
was
had game jerseys on.
that was a game. That was a game day because what we had on. That was game day. But you see me with. I'm gonna have to load this picture up. But you see me with these huge thigh pads on. I look like Christian Okoye in the thighs.
See, now he just told a lie on national camera. Ain't nothing about Pick at any point in his life that looked like Christian Okoye.
No, I said at the thighs.
The only thing that looked like Christian Okoye,
Christian
and
Okoye got them
thing
big
y'all
pads
might
on, bro.
have, only thing they had in common was they both had on shoulder pads. That's about it. Okay,
I ain't even had my pads on.
looking like Christian Okoye.
I said about the thigh pads, bro. The thigh pads. He had them huge. Well, when I loaded up, when I put the picture up,
Man,
Hey,
when we
all
put
I
the picture
know
up, you'd be
when
like,
Pick put it,
Just
when
let
Pick
him think what he thinks.
Hey, Lady A, when Pick put his pads on, he looked like the capital T. That's all I can tell you. Okay?
I did. Hey,
He was
skinny
like
legs.
capital T. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Pick. Never mind.
That's Pick out
Capital
there.
T for
Yeah.
toothpicks. That's how you get named toothpick.
That's
Capital
Pick out there.
So yeah.
Pick out there, diving at everything, hitting everything that moved. Yeah, for
Little
sure. Manny will not be forgotten. Manny will not be forgotten, man. He was a good dude, really, really good dude. Brought the best out of us, man. Brought the best out of us. Okay, let's run around the NFL and talk about some of these games. All right.
Mm.
So we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the other Monday night game that happened with Buffalo. Going into that trap of a bird's nest at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. And you heard him, Bijan Robinson just got off. Him and Drake London, they had a party. Like Drake, that touchdown catch that Michael Penix Jr. put on him when he stretched out at the goal line, it's like they're playing checkers while they're playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. To see these two guys come along, I know Sid has got to be excited. They got to stay healthy. Cal Pitts, once he gets going and the rest of that offense gets going, it's going to be impressive. But the thing that surprises me that I told Sid last night was, does anyone realize that the Atlanta Falcons have number one defense in the NFL?
Actually, I heard.
Said earlier.
Of course, Ed's gonna know, but I did
No,
hear.
Sid didn't know.
Oh, he didn't.
His title said number one defense Atlanta.
But I
He said
told him
he
last
didn't know
night.
until last night.
Oh.
I actually heard something. I want to say maybe their last game, which was weird because they had that tragic loss this season. You remember?
You talking about the Tampa late in the game
I'm talking about when they scored 0
when
points.
they
Oh, against Carolina.
when they played
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
That's a
And then
division
it was
game.
like
That's a
0,
division game.
but it was like 0 to 30, wasn't it? It was something.
31.
Yeah,
But see, y'all gonna have to start giving that game some respect because Carolina actually had the same record as you all, and
they do.
if they're
They got 2 wins.
they're 3-3. They're undefeated
Oh,
at home.
Because they just beat the
I
Cowboys.
ain't asked you all that
That's the
extra. I ain't
reason
asked for the
why.
extra.
yeah, they did just beat the Cowboys, didn't they?
I did not ask for the extra. I was speaking
I
to
was
say.
just telling him
I
what
was
game,
just
why he was a
speaking
game off.
say
Like,
that they're undefeated at home, and Carolina I better start putting some respect on their name because
Mhm.
Carolina is in the fight for the South, the NFC South,
Mhm.
and an NFC playoff position.
Okay.
And matter of fact, they're ahead of you all because of all those division losses, conference losses y'all have. If the
Mm.
playoffs started today, they actually would be ahead of you all.
But would we make the playoffs?
I
I
don't
think
know.
we would.
I don't know about all that. I ain't look at that. I just,
Hey, but where are
Okay.
you guys in the playoffs?
we're on the outside call looking in. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the Macy's window, huh? The
I
Macy's
just wanted to know.
Just looking
Macy's window.
2, 3, and 1.
Guys,
2, 3, and 1.
let's talk about this game out west. We had the Seahawks taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's a
We
pretty.
Mm.
talked about Baker. We talked about Baker Mayfield. Oh wait, am I right? It was the Seahawks and the Buccaneers, right? Yes.
No, the Seahawks played the Jaguars.
I'm sorry. Yes, the Seahawks played the Jaguars. The
You have
Buccaneers
the
played the
wrong
49ers. Man, I'm sorry. I
order.
wanted to get to
You
both of those
said
games.
one of them.
Man, I wanted to get to no. I wanted to get to both of those games out west. So the 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a great game. Um, Baker Mayfield is continuing to do great things, finding Tez Johnson heads over heels. Like Emeka Ibuka goes down in the game, and he still continues to find receivers. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, and Baker Mayfield is one of those quarterbacks that's just starting to get it done no matter what. Is it time that the rest of us put respect on his name because he's finally with a good coaching staff? We always say coaching matters, right? He's with a good coaching staff now. So is it time that we put that respect on his name again?
I'm gonna say this. Baker Mayfield, he's not a bad quarterback. I never thought that he was a bad quarterback, but his stats didn't necessarily win the game. I feel like this was a team win. No shade to him at all. But if it wasn't for the 2 interceptions that Mac Jones threw, his stats are nowhere near Mac Jones. He literally had like 100 yards over passing than Baker. He didn't win the quarterback stat game.
Sorry,
Baker
I'm playing injured.
Mayfield. Hmm.
I'm playing injured again.
Hearing that little weak foot injury he got.
Don't
Yeah.
don't do them like that. That's one night.
But he gonna be all this. But listen, you heard him say he gonna be everywhere lead the pack this week.
He gonna be at the go
With
go.
Cane
I
and
gotta
crutches.
put that foot
With
in
a
his
cane
ice.
and
That's right.
crutches.
That's right. I got this foot in this ice bath right now.
He gonna be doing the hee haw for real. For real. For real.
I'm over here
Man, Jay
with
Black
my
asked
foot in a
an
bucket of ice.
Ooh,
interesting question right there.
it is an interesting question. Honestly, I've seen worse. So no, he ain't done.
As a starting quarterback and any potential to think he'll be anything other than what he is right now, the answer is yes. But he'll play for several more years because when he has a contract to play for another year with the Jets. But the Jets, I don't even think they're the worst team in the NFL, but they're playing the worst, which is the thing. And I feel bad because I was hoping Aaron Glenn had a good job, but I just don't think they're just cursed. I mean, nobody can go there and win. I mean, they've been through 3 coaches in the last 3 years, or maybe even 4. But it's like I said, it's a bad job with a team with seemingly a lot of talent. But
I think Justin Fields is XFL bound. I think Justin Fields is
no, he don't have a job.
You
He don't
as
have
a
a job in
Field,
the NFL.
he's bound. I'm gonna tell you what it.
That sounds like shade, Pip.
It's not shade.
No,
It's
it sounds like
absolutely.
shade to the
It's
UFA
not.
and
No, it's not. It's not. I think that he needs. I think he needs a Pep Hamilton. I think he needs somebody that. Pep is at the University of Maryland.
Yes, you're right. Right.
He's at the University of Maryland. He needs a Pep Hamilton that can hone in his game to accentuate what he does, to get him to play on time, to let the ball go. That thing in your hand, everybody's trying to get it.
Habitat.
The sooner you get it out of your hands, the safer you are. The sooner you come to the line, get your pre-snap read, your post-snap read, go to where you need to go. Don't stop relying on your legs. I think he needs to take a step back to take a step forward.
But there's so much. I mean, when you have that much talent, you got to use all your talents. I mean, if you look at him stat wise, he's not having a bad year individually. But of course, it's not correlated to any wins. Then that's the problem. But I don't.
When you have a freak wide receiver like Garrett Wilson out there, and he's frustrated with you. And don't forget, Garrett Wilson was frustrated.
That's his college.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. But he was frustrated with Aaron Rodgers last year as well, right? He was frustrated with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers wouldn't throw the ball because he kept throwing the ball to Devontae Adams, right? Garrett Wilson is clearly the alpha wide receiver on that team. I just don't get it, man. They have good to great wide receivers on that team. You have a good running back in Hall, and you have bad quarterback play. The most important position, the quarterback position, you don't have a good quarterback there. I think Justin needs to take a step back to take 2 steps forward.
Okay. Will he have time to do that? No. I mean, like I said, that's the question.
Ask this question, right? If no team in the NFL signed him, would he be willing to put his name into the hat of the USFL?
I think
UFL. Yeah. Would he be willing to do that? Would he be willing to go redeem himself?
I don't think.
I'm with AD on this one. I don't think so either. I think not at this stage in his career, when you're just coming off where you just got the first round draft pick, your first 4 years, then you get another year to learn in Pittsburgh, and you get a year where you get a 2-year, $40 million contract, whatever it may be. He won't get that, but there's still so many backup quarterbacks in this league that are getting paid to not to play. Mm-hmm. He could do that for several years.
That's why I was saying I don't think that he's done in the NFL. No. There are worse quarterbacks.
Yes,
honestly.
I got you. I'm with you. Let's talk about the Seahawks. The Seahawks Jacksonville game. Jacksonville had come off of that tremendous win versus the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys go back and look at that, Jones, number 95 for the Chiefs, he comes off the line. He barely gives a push, and he never chases Trevor Lawrence down the line of scrimmage. He gave of an effort, right? Their best defensive lineman did this on that play that Trevor Lawrence scored on to win the game.
That was last week. That was absolutely last week. And then this week,
they go out to Seattle and get handled. Yes, you're going East Coast to West Coast, but you're supposed to build momentum, not lose it, right?
I'm about to say that's easier. But you're seeing a trend now that a lot of these teams coming east, which used to be a death sentence for winning games for a lot of these teams, with the change of time zone in the early games, they're winning more games than they ever have. I think I saw a stat the other day that the teams coming west teams coming east and playing in that 1 o'clock window have a winning record for the first time in
they do.
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
That foot code. He putting that foot in that ice. That's that foot code. Look, I know it. I can recognize it. I told him get a bucket of ice. And
I know you told him, but you didn't get those other details that you didn't remind him of.
Or the toe warmer. Don't worry about it. He should have put a toe warmer on too to keep them toes getting a little frosty. But don't worry about it, baby. I know you got. It's called giving a
What
frozen
I tell
pedicure.
you, Pick? What I tell you?
The frozen pedicure.
You let this Dallas fan
I helped my brother out.
tell
I'm
you
just trying to tell you, listen,
it's
I
a
have
game.
goals. I have goals for the weekend. I have goals. I have places to be. I will not let this ankle stop me. So no, I will
But
be out and about this weekend.
them toes might. Remember that big toe had Shaq out the game.
Ooh.
I'm not running up and down the basketball court. I'm gonna be in and out of
You
the
you
clubs.
could be at the go-go. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna be in and out the clubs.
you
I'm gonna
might
be
as
in and
well
out
be
the
running
clubs.
up and
So
down the basketball court for all that. Look, what is
I,
what is that?
that's what he gonna be looking like when he on the floor. The limp from one side to the other.
But I mean, as far as the Jacksonville game, I mean, when you look at, I like to look at the stats after the game to kind of break down for me, what happened,
what
and
happened?
it
Sam Donald.
wasn't Trevor Lawrence's fault.
Sam Donald happened.
Sam Donald
Yeah,
and Trevor Lawrence stats look really close as far as their yardage is concerned.
Yeah.
As far as their completion, well, Sam Donald was 16 for 27. Trevor Lawrence was 27 for 42. You look at
too
this,
many passes.
huh?
Too many passes.
Too many passes.
If you look at the stats, you would, yeah, it's you see where it went bad. So I wouldn't put it on Trevor, because I mean, at the same time, if every pass you threw they caught, then you good. Otherwise,
But at what point are we gonna start taking the Seattle Seahawks team as for other for real team? I mean, like I said,
well, I think that they are for real. I do. I think that I don't think that they're a bad team. They've proven themselves. I mean, they're what, 4-2 now. I mean
Their
that's
defense is legit. They have a
4-2,
nasty defense.
along with San Francisco, that's 4-2, and I believe also the Rams are 4-2.
mm-hmm.
So, like I said, looking like that conference may get 3 teams in the playoffs, which
Yeah.
is going to be pivotal, critical for a lot of teams as we move forward this next quarter of the season, or the next third of the season, should I say?
Right.
Well, I mean, because you still got to figure out the NFC North. That's the West, right? That's the NFC West. You
Mm-hmm.
got the NFC North, which you got Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, and
Mhm.
Chicago. They vying for it. Then you still got the East. You still got the East.
Well, let's be
You got
real. The
you got.
East is going to probably come out. Only 2 teams, or maybe 1, make it out the East.
I
And
don't know, man.
I said that respectfully. Right now,
Well, the East also plays the
Eagles
North.
got to figure some things out, but they're 4-2, and I believe you all are 3-3.
Mhm.
3-3. That's why
Mhm.
those divisional games, those conference games, are going to hurt you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You
Yep.
got 3 teams in the NFC West vying for it, and you got 2 or 3 teams in the NFC. Everybody, all 4 teams actually in the NFC North, as you just said. That's why those games, losing to Chicago, losing to Atlanta,
Losing to Green
Well,
Bay.
losing to Green Bay.
let's point out though, both teams are now 4-2. The Seahawks and the Jaguars are now 4-2.
Yeah, but the
Let's point
Jaguars.
that
Yeah, you know about the Jaguars.
The Jaguars are the AFC. They're in the AFC. So,
No,
but
no.
see, and,
I'm
and
saying
I haven't even.
Good teams. Good
they're
teams.
the 2 teams
Yeah.
against each other. So I'm not, there is no shade for either team. I don't, I don't think that the Seattle does get the recognition that they deserve, but I mean, they're not a bad team. Jacksonville is not a bad team.
And you still gotta, and you still have to look at the NFC South, because you got Atlanta, you got Tampa, and Tampa
But
has one
after
up on
that,
Atlanta right now.
and Carolina. I keep telling you, Carolina's 3-3. They're right there in the hunt with Atlanta. Because what's Atlanta? Is Atlanta 4-2 or 3-3?
4-2.
And Tampa Bay's 5-1, 5-1. So, like I said, but this the parity. The next third of this season is going to do a lot.
Yeah,
It's going to make it so that, and the good thing is,
Atlanta had the bye. They're 3-2.
Okay.
They're
3-2.
3-2.
Okay, 3-2.
And they just made
Yeah, that's right. Because Bijan.
the Bills are 4-2 now.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, it's the season is still before all of us, right?
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
season is still before all of us. So there we go. We went around the league. And since we've gone around the league now, y'all know what time it is. It's time to move this guy over here. It's time to change the layout.
Lord help us.
And then it's time to find, what it is. Boop, boop. It is time for Al's foursome. This is the point of the show where Al tells us he gives us some outstanding performers from the world of the NFL this week and tells us who he's inviting on his golf trip. Of course, he's using Sid's black card this week. So good luck with that.
Well, until we're able to get sponsors officially for this segment, we will continue to be sponsored by Toothpicks credit card, Sid's credit card, and Lady A's debit card.
Yeah.
There we go.
For all our expenses of Al's foursome, because nothing is a better reward for a great week of football
Let me turn my call off.
than a free round of golf sponsored by you know who, Pick, Sid, and Lady A.
Lady
So
A.
let's get to this week, man, and I'll let you know the fabulous course. We will probably be playing at my own personal course, Country Club of Whitmore. Shout out to Whitmore Country Club.
Shout out to Whitmore Country Club.
If you're watching in Bowie, Maryland, but first person on this country, and if I'm nothing else, I am the governor of unbiasedness, as you will always
Here
see
comes the bias.
in my list.
Lying, big
Governor
today.
of unbiased. So the first person that we must welcome to this foursome, we've been speaking about him all day, with a total of 238 yards of total offense, leading the league in total offense, coming off a year we had 1,900 yards of total offense last year. Brother Bijan, I'm saving picks fantasy Robinson.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And who has number 2 pick in your pick?
Carries, 170 yards with an 80-yard play that probably gave him about 40 points just on that one play.
Just on that one play.
4 receptions, number 68 yards, and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, welcome to Al's foursome. The cat beat me at the bag drop. The cart will be there for you. All drinks on Pick's card. My next,
Listen. Is Bijan the best running back in football today?
he is definitely making a case for it this year for sure. Next one.
He is, and we knew that when he got drafted. We knew that.
We did. He's one of those undeniable, can't miss prospects, and he's proven to be nothing but the truth. The next guy, first time on the list, but he's proven to be a definite bona fide number one. So you're going to be the second guy coming, Mr. Jackson Smith-Njigba. They said you couldn't do it by yourself. When you got rid of Lockett, you got rid of DK Metcalf, you got rid of Lockett. They said, can he be a number one? And all he's proven to be is one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the NFC West, not named Puka Nacua.
Then Ohio State wide receivers are tearing the league up.
As they are. 8 receptions, 162 yards, and another touchdown. Now, we just talked about this guy a few minutes ago, the third guy that I got to invite. Because they said he was washed up. Then he went somewhere and revived his career in Minnesota. And then he got the big money by going out west to Seattle. Mr. Sam Darnold, your wide receiver's here, so you come on with him. 16 for 27, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I'm a believer. I'm becoming a believer in Sam Darnold. And those are words I thought I would never say. So, Sam Darnold, you're number 3 on the Al's foursome. Come on out with you and Jackson. Come on, man. Meet me in the bag drop. Car will be waiting. Drinks on Pick, foods on 88. Now, the last one, this one kind of hurt. But like I said, if nothing else, I'm the governor of unbiasedness. Coming off a 200-yard rushing week.
There's no way this guy should be on the list.
A revenge game. You told him before you got there. You told him before they got there that you was coming to get him. And you get one of the things to get this on this foursome, you got to get a W. That's what Rico Dowdle and the Carolina
Rico
Panthers
Dowdle.
did for
He was my
30
hero of the
carries,
week.
183 yards, and another 4 receptions with 56 yards for a whopping 239 yards of total offense. The most of any player of the week, even ousting Bijan. Mr. Rico Dowdle. I'm a Cowboy fan. You did it to my boys. But I am nothing else. I'm fair and I'm unbiased. This is why you come for this commentary. So Rico Dowdle, welcome to Al's foursome. That's my four, man. Rico, Bijan, Jackson Smith and Jigma, Sam Donald, Meet Me in the Bag Drop, Golf Carts Waiting, Foods on Lady A, Drinks on Pick, the
Y'all
Rams.
getting chips. Y'all getting chips.
Listen, hey, Lady A said she's hitting you with the soccer mom snacks.
She
Listen,
got
Al,
Give them some oranges.
some cut up oranges and stuff.
Yeah. Oranges. Yeah.
Al's foursome is brought to you by going to jail real soon.
Because we got a lot of stolen credit cards until we get a sponsor. So don't you worry about it.
I turned it off.
Oh.
This is where our podcast gets just a little bit silly, but we have fun and it's really fun. And I mean, listen, yes, we are trying to get some sponsors for some of our segments here. So yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun to keep you guys entertained and things of that nature. But the purpose of that really is to show you that these guys have gone out there, they have performed without a doubt, and Al is highlighting the fact that they have performed. They're the best guys that went out there in their profession and put it on for your entertainment. So yes, those guys are being rewarded with the acknowledgement of Al's force. So yes, shout out to them. So listen, y'all know what time it is, right? This is where we talked about the graphic department and what the graphics department did or did not do. Right? And the graphics department took a tumble.
Oh my God.
Right? They took a little tumble. So Pills foot in a bucket of ice right now. So yeah, graphics not done. So graphics are not done. Graphics are not done.
We might as well get this ready because I don't think, and Lady A, I don't think there's going to be a Saturday show either because I've seen how.
No. There's definitely going to be a Saturday show because I got it. Listen, I may not be home, but there will be a Saturday show.
You cannot be a Saturday show from a bar or anyone's table or anyone's living room or party of wings. You must be at a location known to you that we can.
It's going to be a location.
He said not the go-go.
I didn't say libation. I said location.
No. Listen, hold on, wait. Listen. There's a meet and greet and a jersey party. Those are locations.
Pick, don't you bring no ratchetness onto the show. You have before.
She said ratchetness. Ooh.
Okay, let's get into Saturday. Let's get into our Thursday night game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. I meant to ask Jamie this, and I might have to ask him. Is Joe Flacco one of his best quarterbacks that he's been around? Because
he didn't have Joe Flacco. He had the boy out of Fresno State. His name escapes me right now. Trent Dilfer. That was his quarterback.
Yeah, Dilfer was different, but I know he's been around Flacco though. He's been around Flacco. So
we got to get when we have him back. We got to talk about how good that defense was. That defense is still ranked amongst one of the all-time greatest defense to ever line up. That defense. What they did in that playoff run was stuff we still haven't seen yet. Hadn't seen before and still haven't seen since. In regards to how stifling of a defense, him, Ray Boulware, Ed Reed, man. I mean, all those guys, the Hall of Famers that have come from that defense that he played with, John, and even offense and defense, that Jonathan Oliver, Jamal Lewis. I mean, they had a number of just great players, man. That's why I wouldn't have talked to them about when we get a chance because we kind of went along with them because they're having a Super Bowl reunion.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it. They just did the 30 for 30 again last week. They did the 30 for 30 again for that team. and talking about that run, so with the Goose, I mean, it's amazing that the team that was put together, and it's it's crazy because Jamie said when you play in these rivalry games, it's not even it's the unexpected people, and we have had an unexpected person come on. Jermaine Lewis had a Super Bowl return.
If those Giants, yeah.
Yeah, against the Giants, like right after they had a kickoff return, then Jermaine turned around and said, "Okay, well, I got you. Watch me go the other way." So,
Right.
and we knew Jermaine had speed. Jermaine had speed to go. So
And that was
it is
after,
those type of things.
and if the key to that was after the death of his unborn son, that was
That's
that
why he was pointing to the sky.
Geronimo, yeah.
So now you know why Jermaine is pointing to the sky during that time is because he was saying, to his son, I got you, right, right. He was letting him know. All right, so we got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a win, going to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Flacco with the talented group of wide receivers that they have. The problem is the offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Will they be able to hold off TJ Watt and the rest of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense in order to give those wide receivers a chance to get downfield and keep Joe Flacco upright? The line goes like this, and we are using Caesars as of right now. It is Pittsburgh -5.5 at -110. The money line is -275, -275. I'm gonna put this in the chat. I'm gonna snapshot and put it in the chat too. All right. The Cincinnati Bengals are +5.5 at -110. Their money line is +215. The over/under is set at 43.5. That's 110 both ways. 43.5, 110 both ways. Al, I'm gonna go first. You second, and then Lady A.
What's the records? You put the records up? You ain't did the records either.
No, I got them. I actually have them written out. I just didn't. I actually have them written out. Lady A.
Well, wait,
Lady A had a rough week. Lady A had a rough week.
Lady A went 1-1 last night. Al, you went.
I did, but not.
Huh? What'd you say?
He went what?
Al.
What did
Al took Buffalo
last night?
Al went 1-1 last night. Al went 1-1 last night.
Chicago with the points, Buffalo laying the points, I believe. So I went 1-1.
Sid went 2-0. He went 2-0, and then Pick.
Somebody went 6-9.
Who are you talking about?
Somebody went 6-9 this week.
Who are you talking about?
She was 6-9 before, but I went 7-9. I'm sorry, 7-8. I went 7-8.
Yeah, too big. You was 7-8 and 6.
Yeah, I was 7-8.
But no, last night the game, I could have swore I was the only one that won that game.
Which one?
The Dallas game.
Which game?
No,
there was no Dallas game last night.
Commanders game.
I had
Chicago. I had Chicago with the points, so I know I won.
Yeah, Al won Chicago because Al won Chicago. You lost Buffalo. You went 1-1. I had the Bills. I had the Commanders. I went 0-2.
You won the Buffalo game. You took Atlanta, I believe.
I did. I said go
Atlanta. You took Atlanta. And you think you took Commanders.
And she took the Commanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that game, I know I was the only one that the Buffalo game. I know I was the only one. Well, no, because
Sid took Atlanta. Sid took Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. He
all right. Here we go.
Gosh.
Listen, Pittsburgh. I've been doubting Pittsburgh this whole season. Pittsburgh's gonna stumble. Pittsburgh's gonna fall. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done right now until they start playing Baltimore, and I'm done doubting them. Okay, I'm just done.
Thank you,
Good.
I'm just done. So listen, no, not put no respect in your name, but I took them to with the points when they went to London, and then they coming from London, then they got a Thursday night game. That's not right.
Well, talk to the commissioner.
So listen, they laying 6 here, 5.5. I got them beating them by a touchdown.
Ain't nobody in London pick. They just played in Cleveland.
No, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks ago. All right. So listen, yeah, they should have had a bye, but they haven't had their bye yet. So listen, give me Pittsburgh -5.5.
Pick what you nonsense. They just had their bye last week, the other week, because I
They
couldn't.
played this week.
Pick.
We had their bye after the week they played.
You're right. After they came
Yeah,
from
'cause
London. You're
I
right.
got DK Metcalf. I had to bench him last other week. That's why I know on the fantasy he had a bye week.
It's the ice. It's the ice on my foot that's messing with me right now.
I swear it got to be that boy tough. But either way, I don't know who you pick, but give me Pittsburgh laying the points. I need, you know where I'm going. I don't change where I go. Pittsburgh, I'll lay the 5.5. We're gonna punish this trash. And that old
Uh,
quarterback.
Lady, hey, come
Okay.
on, pick up,
You.
pick up.
I see.
What you call Coach Tomlin? What you call Coach Tomlin, Lady A? What you
Oh,
call
that's
him?
Mike Epps. That's Omar Epps' big
Oh, my-
brother.
And he said it right. What is Cleveland doing? Trading a starting quarterback who was good enough to start for them to a division rivalry. Unheard of, ridiculous. I'm with you, Mike. I don't know if y'all heard his rant today when he went off. He named Matthew Berry, the GM of Cleveland. Says you putting a little salt in the game, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. We got something for him. Punish him, Mike.
What's the
Punish
spread again?
5.5. I
Five
believe.
and a half.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the Steelers minus the 5.5, right?
Okay.
Why you laugh?
He putting that foot in that water again. See, I can tell you when you get a little high pitched in his voice, like okay, yes, a little water, little cold water on them toes. I told you keep it in this and ignore it. You gotta just concentrate on the show.
You got to push through the first couple of minutes in that water.
That's what you gotta do. Push through, baby. Gotta get to it to get through it to get to it. Or get to it to get through it. Either one, however you want to do it.
All right. What
But
we
see,
got left?
when you
What-
walk into that bar without a limp, come Saturday, you're gonna thank me. You're gonna thank me
It's
for that
gonna,
bucket of ice.
I
it's gonna
told
be
you
all good.
he gonna be doing the hee haw.
I'm not. I refuse to. I'll be in that joker fresh to death like $1,000,000.
Man, happy feet.
I'm gonna be good. All right. Did we cover it all?
I
Do
believe
we
we did.
have any crumbs left on the table?
Oh, congratulations to the Los Angeles Aces
Yes.
for
There we
Las
go.
winning
Las Vegas.
WNBA. I'm
Las
sorry, Las Vegas. Ooh, for winning the WNBA championship.
Yes, absolutely. We did not recognize that.
Congrats to Asia. We knew she was gonna do it.
First WNBA player to be named Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and Finals MVP.
She got all her little hardware and stuff. You know, she good to go.
And
She ain't had to call Usher out because he came to one of the games. So she ain't have to call Usher out this time. But kudos to her. Kudos to the Las Vegas Aces.
absolutely.
They are doing amazing things in Vegas. You know, just and we'll talk about it later, but hopefully there are going to be some changes in
The
the
WNBA
WNBA soon.
they have their landscape is a little their landscape is a little bit treacherous right now because they have none of their veteran players except for 2 veteran players under contract coming up. So they need to get this labor situation figured out. Because the women's basketball game is at an all-time high. The skill is unprecedented. Um, we and what's coming in behind it in college is just as amazing. So
Yeah.
I like
And
I like where the
I'm
W
gonna
is headed.
address Cuzzo because he know I'm gonna address it.
And
She is
please,
not good because of her man.
Who's
She's
her
good
man?
because of her.
bam, man, bam out of bio in
Bam
Asia.
by you.
But let me tell you something. They better embrace that golden goose to get that money right, and stop trying to shun old Caitlyn, OC squared. They better embrace the golden goose because if they embrace the golden goose, they'll get that money. They all looking.
That's what the players are saying, though.
But
The players are
hold
saying
on,
it's like it's no way that they shouldn't be making the money.
if it weren't for the Caitlyn and Angel Reese rivalry,
Yeah.
you know, so you can't. Unfortunately, there are people that are on both sides. Like some people are like Team Caitlyn, and then other people are Team Angel. And in truth, they both got recognition because of the rivalry. You can't have one without the other. A lot of people didn't even know who they were until they had conflict on the court.
Yeah,
So, but it
they
exposed a lot of stuff. You have some amazing athletes, and unfortunately, it took some drama on the court for people to actually pay attention and then lock in. But now that they're here, they see that there's so many players that have talent. There's so much talent, and pay them girls, pay them.
Yep.
But we can talk
Yeah.
about that
So
next
yeah,
time.
we will definitely talk about that next time. Listen, when you're switching a bucket of ice, the only thing you want to do is get off of here. So we're gonna do right now. Uh Listen, shouts out to my son, United States Air Force, first string podcast, second to none. Come get some. Sid will tell you guys, go dogs. I'm gonna say raise hell. Cowboys, we're coming for you.
Go boys, let's get this dub.
Ew.
Lady A, hit the music, please.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace 'em up, it's the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Lace 'em up, it's the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting lineup, first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he read GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe,